Hello, hello, hello. How's everyone doing? You guys doing okay? All right, everybody. It's time to get started. It's time to begin. Dom says, Morj, thanks for saving my grandmother from that burning building. Such a good guy. No worries. Teddy says, what? We on time? Wait, am I early? What did I schedule it for? What time did I schedule it for? Am I early? I thought I scheduled it for. Oh, I'm only 15 minutes late. Yeah. No, I'm not. I'm less than 15 minutes late. I'm less than 15 minutes late. Ender Ayanami, it is always good to see you, man. You're one of the most positive people in stream. I'm always happy to see you. Thank you for being a Pirate King tier member for 18 months. I really appreciate your support, etc. Monthly reminder to read Fire Punch. Excited to see the Bollywood dance stream, waifu tier list stream, Wano analysis video, watch along stream, and every other promised stream during the upcoming. Okay, these are not all promised stream. These are not all promised ones. Okay, Wano analysis, yes. Fire Punch, promise is a strong word, but I genuinely do want to read it. I wonder if I could just read. I do want to read it. I genuinely do want to read it. Again, it's because I'm playing this damn Zelda game. That's what I do in my free time when I get like time to just relax. To myself, I play that Zelda game. Play Tears of the Kingdom. It's a good game. I'm enjoying it. Well, I've got some thoughts on it actually, but it is. I'll talk about that later. You guys don't want to hear that right now. I did not promise a Bollywood dance stream. Waifu tier list, I said I would do at some point when I decide a goal for it. One analysis, yes. Watch along stream. What did I promise to watch along? Maybe Egghead. I think I promised to watch. Maybe I'll only watch Egghead stuff when cool stuff happens in Egghead. I'm not gonna watch like, you know, them wandering around trying to figure out that it's York for like 15 weeks. Tom says Morj, Sunday streams are low-key the best. Okay, so from what we learned last time, first of all, let's get the stream likes up to 100. From what we learned last time, and this is very, very important, from now on, it seems that Friday chapters are going to be the norm. Also, really fucking big news. So, to begin with, that means I'll most likely be streaming Friday midday. The latest I'm considering streaming is like 4:30 p.m. EST. Even 5 would be pushing it for what I'd be okay with. Talis says, how's Tears of the Kingdom going? I'll talk about that later. Floor Talis says, I've been playing Ocarina of Time. Ocarina of Time is a great game. Phenomenal game. Wait, what the fuck? Wait, why does it say ranking the greatest One Piece character? Did I change that? Hold on. It should be character introductions. I'm sorry. Who? What the fuck? Okay, hold on. I gotta see one thing. So the stream time was wrong this morning? So we have a assistant. She lives in the Philippines who sets up these things. And she set it to her time, 7:15. But did she also set the title wrong? Because I hope that's not the case. What? She did say. Okay. That's not good for certain reasons. I'm sorry, that's not good for certain reasons. Okay. Yeah, One Piece. It's supposed to be greatest One Piece character introductions. How'd you know it's character introductions? Akash Panda, how'd you know that it's supposed to be greatest character introductions? How'd you know that? That is literally what it was supposed to be. That's weird. Okay. Josh, thanks for the 10. Did you go out for St. Patrick's Day? St. Patrick's Day was Sunday this week, right? I did not go out for that. There was some music festival stuff happening in my area that I did go to on Friday. But did not go out for St. Patrick's Day. Sunday, I tried to keep low-key. Sunday was St. Patrick's Day, right? Breezy2X, thanks for the 5. What's the criteria for greatest character? Also, can you fight? So updates, I did go take a boxing class again. That was fun. The guy was kind of a scam artist a little bit. That's I went to a well-reputed gym because I'd been to that one before. No, it's not clickbait. It's literally supposed to be greatest character introductions. How do you know? How did you guys know? Oh, I said it last stream. I mentioned it last stream. Okay. God damn, that is not good because it's complicated, but she's gotten a few other things kind of bad lately. So this is just this is kind of like straw that breaks. This is minor, but it's like straw that breaks the camel's back kind of stuff. Anyway, because the characters on the thumbnail all had good intros. Okay, my bad. All right, I'm sorry I confused you guys on that. For those of you who weren't aware, but yeah, it's supposed to be character introductions. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so I went to a gym, boxing gym, and it was for a one-on-one. Because there's group classes, but I wanted to relearn the basics before I got back into group classes, so I don't look like an idiot. And I was supposed to pay $80 for the thing, but the trainer just like he just like very quietly was like, yeah, just pay me directly. So I paid him directly, and he was the sketchy older dude, not great with the English, Hispanic if people are interested. And I just paid him directly. And then once the person that actually worked at the gym came around, like the kid that's got like the iPad and stuff and trying to sign people up, he came around and he was like asking me to for the money. The trainer was like, oh no, don't worry, we'll settle it. I'll talk with the owner. I've settled it already. Don't worry. I was like, he didn't talk to the owner. He definitely just pocketed my $80, which is supposed to go to the gym, and then the gym is supposed to pay him. But it's like whatever. Anyway, I went. You know the thing that kicked my ass the most? Who wants to know the thing that kicked my ass the most? Alright, you guys would be surprised. Very surprised. Actually, if you boxed at all, you would know. Well, actually, it's probably so basic for you guys who've boxed regularly that you don't even think about it. Fucking jumping rope. Jumping rope. He made me jump rope for I get that this dude knows what he's doing and stuff, but he definitely wanted to just sit on his ass for a bit, so he made me jump rope for like the first 15 minutes. Not just 15 minutes straight, but like I had to do it for like 3 minutes and then stop, and then he'd be like, okay, take a quick break. All right, now dude, I had to jump rope for like a while. And let me tell you, like, jumping rope when you're not used to jumping rope is like, it actually is it's a little exhausting. A little bit. So that kind of kicked my ass. And then after that, he got into the fundamentals and everything, but the jumping rope is the most tiring part of it, actually. Like, genuinely. Andrew Anami says Morj's cardio plan did not pan out. No, because like it's a different so like actually doing the striking and everything, that was not as tiring as the jumping rope. I don't know why. But maybe because I assume because I was already tired from that. I don't know, but I guess it's a different type of cardio, running versus that. But yeah, surprisingly, jumping rope for like 3 minutes, then quick pause, then 3 minutes, then again, and quick pause. I don't know. It's kind of that was the thing that was tiring for me. So I'm honestly like, I'm buying a jump rope just because I'm like, well, if they're gonna make me do this bullshit every time I go there, I should practice this at home so that I can actually be not exhausted by the time we get to the other stuff. Anyway, Filch. Wait, no, let me catch the members real quick before they fly by. Tanishk Parab, nice name. Upgraded membership to Pirate. Thank you for joining the Pirate King tier, man. I don't know which tier you were before, but you now get access to. Obviously, all Yonko tier members and up get access to the weekly podcast, but Pirate King tier means you get access to the monthly podcast, which we should be putting up the poll for in, not the poll, the submissions form for in about a weekish or so, and the Pirate King podcast is the really long, hour-plus long podcast that I do where I just take all Pirate King tiers members' questions on everything One Piece, not One Piece related, and I go through them all fairly in-depth. So those are the most fun podcasts that I do, in my opinion. More in-depth than I usually have time for on streams, because streams, we got a lot to get through. Dom, thanks for being a Yonko tier member for 18 months. If Goat Zaru kicks a Gorosei in the face this arc, I'll upgrade to Pirate King. Oh, shit, so now I got... Okay, let's hope that happens. Thanks, man. Also, check out Freerun, really good themes and animation. You know my friend back home who I got into anime, who now watches way more anime than me? And, like, it's actually funny, because, like, we were both into shonen stuff, right? And, like, he's a normie type person that just got into anime for the shonen stuff, and then he ended up binging through all the shonen stuff, and it was like, he went through tiers where he's like, he watched more than me at this point, so he's like, yeah, dude, so I've watched all, like, the good shonen stuff that's popular, and now I'm watching, like, the bad shonen stuff, so he's, like, watched Fire Force, but then, like, he got through that and recommended to me, so that's why I watched Fire Force. And then he's like, yeah, dude, so now I've gotten through all of, like, the bad shonen stuff, so, like, now I'm, like, I don't know what to watch, so now I'm watching, like, the weird slice of life stuff. So he's recommended, like, and if you knew this guy, he would not strike you as someone that watches anime in general, and certainly not, like, off-brand, not off-brand, but off mainstream, like more outskirts type, like, you know, like anime fan type stuff. But I know Freerun isn't quite like that, but he got into Freerun, for example, and was pushing that on me, and I was like, well, do they fight in Freerun? He's like, no, they don't fight much in Freerun, but, like, it's really good because of that. I'm like, I don't know if I want to watch something that doesn't have, like, characters fighting and stuff. And he's like, no, dude, you got to watch it. It's really good, blah, blah, blah. So I'm probably going to watch it. For me, when it comes to animated stuff, usually for me, I think I've explained this before, like, I don't need movies to have action, I don't need TV show to have action, etc. But for me, when I'm watching, like, animated stuff or reading comic stuff, usually I need to see some fighting. It's just the way my brain is programmed. I usually go to this medium for fantasy action type stuff. But I'll probably try Freerun at some point. Leo Recto, thanks for being a Yonko tier member for 11 months, man. Hey, Morj, nice to see you. I box as well, and yes, jumping rope at the start and the abs core workout at the end is rough. I didn't have to do an ab core workout, but, thanks for letting me know. Thanks for giving me the heads up. Also, I vouch for Zoro's intro. Zoro's intro? Oh, yeah, no, Zoro has a good intro. I think most of the strats have good intros. Zoro definitely has a good one. We'll get into them. We'll get into them in a second. Flitch, thanks for the 2. Morj, if Vegapunk dies, what happens to his fruit? Can you guys imagine if, like, Luffy... Obviously, he can't, but I'm just curious, what type of personality would that produce? If you have Luffy... And if, at the start of the story, he ate Vegapunk's fruit instead of the Gomu Gomu no Mi, would it be the dumbest smart person of all time? As for what happens to his fruit, I don't know. That's a really good question, honestly. That's a really, really good question. It's a phenomenal question. What if Frankie ate the fruit? No, because I want Frankie to excel on his own engineering prowess. It's a tricky fruit, because whoever gets it, it's a serious game changer, because in theory they could become... Not necessarily as smart as Vegapunk, because Vegapunk was, we assume, a genius before the fruit. But you know, if a bad guy gets it, then that's a huge. What if the Blackbeard Pirates pick it up? Yo, that would be cool. What if the Blackbeard Pirates pick it up? That'd be interesting. Retro Records, thanks for the 10, and thanks for this being your first super. I appreciate it. Thank you very much for donating for the first time. Hey Morj, since we're about to get a 3-week break, that was the other thing I wanted to talk about. We got to talk about that. Would you consider bringing on other creators like Roger or Tekking to talk One Piece? Would be a great time. Also, happy birthday. You know, I wasn't considering that, and normally I don't try and organize those type of things on this channel, at least not since Morj Unleashed stopped. Morj Unleashed was like a good reason to get creators together, so I'd get like Brago, Jay, Rand. I would get people on. I had Tekking on. That's a good idea. Let me jot that down, honestly. We got to talk about this 3-week break. Might do something like that. Maybe. Okay. She's fired the virtual... No, like... We don't want, like... We like... It's just, it's gotten to... lots of small, like, once it's like getting big stuff wrong is bad too, but then when it's like really basic stuff, like just getting the time right or the title of the streams right, then it's just like this is inconveniencing us more than anything else. So we got to think about that. She's not necessarily like we got to think about that. We just have to have a discussion. Cliff, thanks for the 2. Reread/watch Frankie's introduction. It's peak. Frankie's introduction is peak. We might do a separate little segment, which is vote for the best Straw Hats introductions. Off the top, does Robin take it? It's possible Robin takes it among the Straw Hats. Straw Choco says, Morji found Latino Mr. Miyagi. Dude, he did not. I'm gonna do one more time with this guy and then find out. But the thing is that the previous time that I took a boxing class, it was a group class, and the trainer for that, it's the same gym, just different trainer. So the trainer for that, he walked me through proper form much better, and I had it down had it down and clicked. Obviously, I forgot that over time. With this guy, he didn't really do that. He just had me start hitting stuff and then just kept telling me, like, that's wrong. Like, I would prefer being told what is correct first and then trying that than just going in blind and then being told, like, don't do that. Like, so, I'll try again with him and see. That's just my preference. SMX Wings, thanks for the 5. You think Gorosei are like satellites to Emu, similar to Vegapunk? That's what I dropped in the latest video, one of the last 2 videos. They're numbered in a similar way. Maybe real people, but Emu imbued demon powers or devil fruits. Yeah, I mean, that's one of the most recent videos that I did. I think that Emu very possibly created them. Or like you're saying that they're real people that they had Emu imbued powers into. I could see that as a possibility as well. Because I imagine that Emu's just going to have a very, very... very versatile ability that can do a lot of things, most likely. The Water God, thanks for the 5. Hey, Morj, what do you think will get the entire world involved in the final war, and how will Skypiea join in? Maybe Uruj. So I would elaborate on this in a future video. Maybe this break period would be a great way to do it. But I'm going to keep it short here, which is, I think it's 2 factors. People finding out the truth of what the world is like, and then world government backlash. I think those 2 factors combined. Yeah, I think those are the 2 factors that really matter. Flame of the Spirit, thanks. Morj training to beat up any future card thieves. That's the reason I've been, yeah. That's it. That's the answer. Also, let's get the stream likes up to 100 really quick. Uwu, thanks for the 5. El Morjo, are you going to watch End of Evangelion in theaters this Wednesday? I gotta watch the fucking beginning of Evangelion. I gotta watch all of the other stuff first, Gotta watch all the other stuff first. Even, like, I know that it's one of the, if not the greatest anime series of all time to many people. And I really do. I've seen it in bits and pieces, because when I was living in Baltimore, one of my roommates, same person I just mentioned, he would watch anime on the TV screen. So sometimes I'd, like if I was in the living room, I would see different shows on. So I caught lots of bits of Evangelion. And I've watched the first couple episodes. Manny, thank you for the 50. Holy shit, man. I really appreciate that. Holy shit, thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate, I said appreciate like 5 times, but I do. Thank you. Hey, Morj, was going to ask this last stream. Do you think Emu's devil fruit could possibly be a devil/Satan fruit? After seeing the Gorosei come off as actual demons with summoning circles and Emu's silhouette having horns with a ponytail-typed attacks. So I think that would be a really, really cool possibility. I did do a video. Let me see. I did a video. Let's see. It was... I've done multiple videos, theories on Emu. And yeah, one of them I covered the possibility of him being the Sea Devil. The Sea Devil. So that's like a maybe. I don't know if but just a straight up devil could be even more interesting. That that does beg the question: is there a straight up god fruit, which would be pretty cool in its own right? But Emu being the devil does make a lot of sense. His subordinates are demons. He Sabo's quote about hell being on the top of the world. There's a lot of recurring ideas throughout One Piece of the idea that of devils masquerading as gods, things like that. And even the pointy tail thing does stand out. I think one of the things is just that the Zoan form that Emu took doesn't quite look like the devil itself, but that might be Oda's interpretation. The pointy tail is a big standout. Ooh, thanks for the 2. Morjueño, do you have an internal dialogue? Yeah, of course. I don't know if people who don't... I don't know if it's genuinely possible to not have an internal dialogue. I know that people say they don't. I know that there's studies that show that a lot of people don't. But I don't know if that's... I feel like maybe it's just people that are having trouble describing or recognizing that their own internal dialogue. It doesn't really... How can you not have thoughts going... Because I can understand it not being a literal dialogue. Maybe not... words, maybe not a voice, maybe not a script, maybe not actual sentences going through your head, right? But people have thoughts, right? Everybody has thoughts. So maybe for some people it's more feeling emotion based or something like that, or just maybe visuals, maybe more visual thinkers. I'm not sure, but I don't really believe that you can't just not have thoughts, because then you're not a real person, right? You're just more you're literally an NPC, right? So you have to have an internal dialogue. Tony69, thanks for the 6. Off topic, sorry. Can you rank your favorite Super Saiyan forms? That's a great question. I don't mind it being off topic, and considering Toriyama only passed away a couple weeks ago, week or so ago, 2 weeks. I don't know how long it's been. It's always good. It's gonna be relevant. We're still in the relevant phase. Ranking them 1 through 4 plus God plus Blue. Does Ultra Instinct count? Because I don't care for God or Blue at all. I'll throw those right at the bottom. I don't care for those, but I thought Ultra Instinct is cool. Just because the angle that they went for it did, like, I'll say this about God and Blue, which is just that if you just lined up all the Super Saiyan forms straight up, I would never have been able to guess that these two are the strongest. Because I'm just like, well, this one's just red. These ones are gold. Gold looks cooler to me. Gold also looks cooler to me than blue. I'm going to fucking guess that the gold ones are stronger. So it almost seems like a downgrade. Ultra Instinct, I think the design, they kind of changed enough. Also the general, like the concept of kind of what it is, they kind of made it a little less generic than just like more power, a bit. I mean, but at the end of the day, it kind of is. But you know, it was cool seeing Ultra Instinct debut and then Goku just automatically, like, unconsciously just dodging and blocking and deflecting everything. I thought that was cool. It's a different angle. You're never going to top Super Saiyan in terms of what's iconic, but I think it does say something that the term Ultra Instinct was able to get popularized much in the same way, at least in the anime community, kind of get popularized, kind of like Super Saiyan. You know, like... Like, nowadays, you do genuinely, like, or at least for a long time, you did genuinely hear people saying, like, holy shit, he just went Ultra Instinct, or, like, I just went Ultra Instinct in this moment and stuff. Like, it did get popularized in general nerd vernacular, which is pretty insane to think about, that they could, like, Dragon Ball was able to pull that off again, you know? You're not really going to hear that with, like, I just went Sage Mode, or... I just put on my Hollow Mask, or like even Gears, like I don't think I really hear people say. I've heard people say like, well, nah, maybe I'm being biased as a One Piece fan, but you know what I mean? Like Ultra Instinct, the fact that they're able to pull that, like get that, make a bit of a splash pop culture wise with that, to pop culture wise, nerd culture wise with that. Even if it's like a far cry from Super Saiyan, it's still pretty impressive. So if I were to rank the forms, right, I'm going to put gold and blue at the bottom, or sorry, red and blue, God and blue. I'm just going to put them at the bottom. I think they suck, to me. The rest I would put 1 and 2. I like 3 the best. I'm going to be honest. I really like the look of 3. I think maybe people make fun of it because it's just like the hair getting long and stuff. But to me, 3 looks fucking sick. It looks badass. I love 3. Super Saiyan 3 is my favorite form. Then honestly... maybe 4, and then 1 and 2 is a wash. It's like the same thing. Maybe Ultra Instinct I have a little bit around the same place as them. Maybe a little higher, maybe a little. I don't know. Just 3 is my favorite. I think 4 looks really cool. This is just design at this point that I'm talking about, not really what they are. Because like writing wise, 2 is probably the best, and then maybe 1, 2 or 1. But design wise, 3. 4, 2/1/Ultra Instinct, all in the same like area, and then the red one and the blue one I don't give a fuck. Anyway, Flame of the Spirit, welcome to Pirate King tier. I hope you can look forward to just watch out for next week's Pirate King podcast. It's going to be a big one. And Lars Caesar, welcome to Pirate King tier. We got a lot of signups for this, so a lot of extra submissions, I assume, for next week's podcast. Or the podcast submission stuff will go up most likely sometime next week, at the end of next week, before the month ends. And then a long-ass podcast coming out after that. So thank you for the support. Really, really, really fucking appreciate you guys who are upgrading your memberships. Yeah, we got a bit of a stretch of... Okay, first of all, is it confirmed? Can anyone tell me, is it confirmed that we do or don't have One Piece chapters for the next 3 weeks? Do we not have One Piece chapters for the next 3 weeks? Yeah, like, I'm not talking writing-wise. Like, Gohan going Super Saiyan 2, epic, right? Goku going Super Saiyan 1, epic, right? Concept of Ultra Instinct, cool, nice new spin on a series that had been doing the same thing over and over, essentially. It's still mostly the same thing, but it's new enough of a spin that it got people talking about it, which is pretty cool. But yeah, just design-wise, Is 3-week break confirmed? Okay, it's confirmed. All right. Let me give you a heads up, and then I'll keep catching up on supers, and then we'll get into the rankings. Also, let's get the stream likes up to 100 real quick. So, let me just give you guys a heads up for the 3-week break. I'm going to be doing some... So Monday streams are always going to stay the same. All right, Monday streams are always going to stay the same. What I'm considering doing is streaming... Let me ask for you guys right now. Friday stream best times. During this 3-week break, normally I don't stream when on Thursdays/Fridays when you don't have a chapter, but because we're doing a 3-week break, that feels a little like, you know, that's some time. I want to keep entertainment going, etc., stream culture going. So I'm gonna be doing, I could do Thursdays. I could stream Thursdays because there's no chapter, or like, okay. Let me frame for you guys everything that I'm thinking. Okay, so if there were chapters, so for example, this week there's a chapter. Normally I'm gonna have to start streaming on Fridays, most likely Friday midday, 2 p.m., 3 p.m. EST. The latest I could do is probably 4 p.m. EST. Okay, I don't want to do night. I don't want to turn my Fridays into that personally. And you guys probably have shit. Depending on the Friday, some people may have shit to do, some people may not, right? So I want to stream Fridays during the day, if possible. So I'm thinking about that, first of all. And that's going to be the norm for when chapters come out from here. But we've got a 3-week break, so I'm like, for those 3 weeks, should I do those streams on Thursday evenings like I used to do when people were used to chapters coming out? You get what I'm saying? Because that's when people are kind of used to catching extra streams. So I'm going to do a poll right now. So let me make it very, very clear. I'm not necessarily abiding by the results of the poll, okay? Just because I need to see what works for me. And also I'm like, well, I don't want to get us into a habit of like still sticking to the Thursday streams, and then chapters come back and now we're switching back over to the Friday streams, and then I'm like, well, what if that fucks with just the people that have gotten used to Thursday streams again? I don't know. Like, let's see. I'll just make it. Okay, during 3-week break. During 3-week break. The streams during this period of time are going to be variety streams. Monday streams will remain One Piece focused. Those later streams will be variety focused, so I might stream a game, I might stream general topic discussion, might stream like fucking random fun tier lists, like video game tier lists or something like that, because I'm looking for new games to try and stuff. Might do movies type stuff. Maybe I play a game for you guys. I don't know. We'll see. During 3-week break. Thursday night streams. 8 p. And okay. Here are the options. Maybe if I switched my Friday gym time, because if I went to the gym a little bit earlier on Friday, that I could come back and maybe stream like 5 to... I could do that. I should have thrown in a 5 p.m. EST time. Okay. All right. Dev says if you're going to transition, just transition. Yeah, I figured the people that are used to evening streams, they still get it on Mondays. I'm keeping the Monday streams at the same time. And then for some people, they'll have to adjust to Friday during the day streams. Breezy Twix says, don't you have a rainy day list of ideas? Yes, I do. But those are mostly One Piece related. These would be not that One Piece related. This would be more just a variety fun type stuff. Maybe some One Piece related. We'll see. Okay. All right, good stuff. So it seems overall the majority are leaning towards Friday. And Friday, I guess we'll just have to find the golden zone. So somewhere between 3 to 4 p.m. is probably when I'll be streaming. I'm leaning 3 p.m. right now, but we'll see. Yeah, I know Europeans are going to really, really like this too. Okay. Okay, good shit. Good shit. Okay. Wrench Dodger 2000 says, I mean, when we come back, chapters are still going to come out on Friday still, right? Yep. As far as I know, as far as TCB told us. I know as much as you guys know, which is what TCB told us when they came through stream last week. For some reason, this poll isn't ending. End poll, come on now. Alright, that's weird. The poll's just up. Let me try refreshing. Okay, let me catch up on supers and then we'll get into it. Fuck, the poll's not ending. Okay, there we go. Okay. Yeah. So we got some changes, but honestly, for me, like, I can't lie. For me, it's I know for you guys, it probably changes some stuff. For me personally, if I'm being honest, I like streaming on Fridays. It's a lot more fun because Thursdays are very packed for me overall. I do a lot of other stuff on Thursdays, but Friday during the day is perfect. Friday during the day is perfect. Because Thursday, you guys might not know, the videos that you guys see Tuesday that come out, usually I have to write the bulk of them on Thursday. I have to send out instructions for what images to get on them for them on Thursday. I'm spending most of Thursday working on that video, and then streaming on top of that. Okay, let's keep going. Wait. Tanishk Parab, thanks for the 20. Hey, what if like the will is carried on through the devil fruit, which is a theory? Do you think knowledge will be transferred in case of Vegapunk's devil fruit? So we have a few examples of that, right? We have, for example, Ace's devil fruit, Sabo mentioning Ace's will to Burgess after he uses Ace's devil fruit. We don't know if that's literal or if Sabo's being metaphorical, right? The Goma Goma no Mi, I don't think Luffy literally feels Joy Boy's will, but the fruit clearly carries something, right? To some degree. It's very hard to say. It's being left ambiguous. I don't know if every devil fruit carries a literal will of its previous owner. The smart or brain fruit or something would be a really good pick for it being the case, though, because it's very, it's mental, right? So I think that would be interesting. I don't know if that's going to be the case. We haven't seen that with other things like I don't know if Shiryu's carrying Absalom's will. I don't know if Bon Clay is carrying the old hag from Wano's will, stuff like that. Blackbeard, but Blackbeard, Whitebeard, that's an interesting little idea. If Blackbeard feels still some of Whitebeard's will in the fruit. I don't know. Akash Panda, thanks for the 5. Do you think there was a different way to get powers before devil fruits existed, and that is how Emu and the Gorosei got their powers? Maybe Joy Boy too. I don't think so. I feel like devil fruits must have been around already during that time. But at the same time, so there's one factor that's being talked about, which is moon stuff, right? So we know that the moon is relevant. We know that we can imagine. We know certain races came from the moon. Maybe there is some other source of... Well, now we're getting to Naruto, right? Some other source of power from the moon and everything. Well, no, Kaguya... I don't know the Akatsuki exact... what do you call... their specific stuff. But, I feel like devil fruits are the main one. And I think that that's going to stick with being the case. Because I feel like getting into another power system... You already have devil fruits and Haki, so it's two major things. I don't want another power system on top of that. I guess it wouldn't be a whole new power system, but you know what I mean. Let me catch this real quick. Tom, thanks for being a member for 18 months, man. Always good to see you. What about a stream where we vote on manga for you to read the first chapter of on stream? As always, love the content. Read Kaiji, lots of tension. That would be fun. I'm going to write that down. That'd be fun. Because if it's just the first chapter, I'm cool with it. Because, again, if it's something I'm going to enjoy, like Fire Punch... I assume I'd enjoy Fire Punch. I wouldn't read the entirety of it on stream because I want to be able to just sit, relax with it, not feel like I'm having to do reactions. But if it's just the first chapter, it's just dipping my toes, I'd be cool with that for sure. Then Akash Panda, thanks a lot. Do you think there was a... No, we covered this. Shanks Yak, thanks for the 10. Been a viewer for years now. I was 19 when my mom passed away a little over a year ago now, and it's been a struggle. Your videos / streams have helped my mind escape, even if it's just a bit. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that, man. I'm very sorry to hear that. That's honestly a really young age for you to lose your mom. Yeah, I'm just sorry to hear that. I'm happy to help. Obviously not deliberately, but I'm happy that some of the stuff that I'm able to do is at least able to help or entertain you in some ways. So yeah. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Okay. I think I'm caught up on supers. I think I'm caught up on supers. Okay. All right, so we can start doing the actual thing. Tala says, Morj, thoughts on Discord surrounding the Sanji and Zoro interaction this chapter? People are arguing between if Sanji was bantering or actually upset since he wasn't talking to Zoro directly. I don't think that there's anything to make of it, you know? It's just, like, we've seen in the past that, for example, a similar scenario was in Punk Hazard, where Sanji runs past Zoro while he's fighting Monet with all these soldiers, G5 soldiers, and he tells them, like, you know, like, despite, like, making fun of Zoro and stuff as they run by, it was a funny scene. Sanji's like, yeah, but that guy's pretty reliable, so don't worry about it. Like, we know how Sanji thinks about Zoro, and we know that, you know, just because they talk shit or whatever, it doesn't mean anything at the end of the day. Like, Sanji knows that Zoro should be able to beat that guy, so that's how he views it. It'd be a totally different, like, I don't think Sanji's going to be looking at, when Sanji sees Zoro fighting Kuma at Thriller Bark, you know, and it's actually like a, oh, fuck, he's fucked scenario, right? Like, then Sanji's not going to shit talk. He jumps in. He's not calling Zoro dead weight. He jumps in and tries to save him himself, you know? Like, literally during that scene, Zoro's like, I'm going to fight Kuma by myself, and Zoro's getting fucked up. And once the fight hits a point where it's clear that Zoro's just clearly outmatched, Sanji just comes in and he's like, okay, that's enough. We're ending the 1v1. I'm stepping in to help. This was the opposite of that case where it's just like, yeah, dude, you should have this. He should have this. It's actually kind of disappointing that he hasn't pulled it off already, right? I mean, like, let's be real. Come on now. Sanji did... people can't get upset because Sanji didn't say anything that we readers haven't already been saying for the past, what was it, 6 months? Yeah? We weren't calling Zoro dead weight, but how many of you, like, Zoro fans and Sanji, like, everybody was kind of just like, dude, fucking wrap it up. Am I wrong on that? Right? Sanji didn't... How come the rest of us can be like, dude, Zoro fans themselves are like, yeah, Zoro should one-shot him, this is BS. I saw lots of Zoro fans, like, critiquing Oda, being like, this is BS, so Zoro should have won this fight already, this is stupid and stuff. So how come Zoro fans can say that, but then when Sanji shows up and he says that, then it's, then, you know, everything goes to shit. And it's like, oh my god, disrespecting Zoro like that, that's rude. It's like, you guys were disrespecting Zoro too. Alright. Anyway, Evil Friend, thanks for the 5. What 3 One Piece characters would make the most entertaining podcast? That is a great question. The most entertaining podcast. I was about to say Luffy, but then I'm like, you can only hear a genuine idiot ramble for so long. it would, you know, I think it'd be entertaining for a little bit, and then after a bit it'd be like, okay, this guy doesn't know anything about anything. It would be, I think it might be Robin. It would be none of the Straw Hats. Robin is the only one. Because the Straw Hats are all very simplistic, you know? You listen to, like, you read, like, 10 panels of a single Straw Hats dialogue, and it's going to be generally pretty what? Like, Frankie's going to talk about Cola. He's going to talk about how cool the Sunny is. He's going to talk about how manly something is or something, right? Like, the Straw Hats mostly, like, Zoro's pretty simple, too. Like, sake, swords, etc. They're mostly in a simple bubble in kind of the way that their dialogue works. So Robin would be cool. I think maybe Dragon would be cool. Robin, Dragon, Mihawk. I feel like these guys could give, like, some cool perspective on just, like, Robin's very knowledgeable. Dragon has a lot of, like, grand views and goals and such. Mihawk seems to have a very interesting perspective on life and growth. I think that those could be interesting. Sanji, Brook, and Nami? No, they just don't have enough to talk about. There's not enough. You couldn't actually list, like, they're too simplistic in their speech and their interests in terms of what they express, you know? Patrick Kovachev says you say that about Luffy, but that's Joe Rogan's whole bag. Come on now, Luffy's genuinely has the intellect of a 10-year-old, maybe. I've seen plenty of times in the story actually that, like, 10-year-olds have corrected him or told him that's something stupid. Snab, thanks for being a Yonko tier member for 18 months. Hello, Morjus. I'm happy. I just moved to Japan from Norway. Oh, shit. All right. Why? That's interesting. But even better, we got Morjcast from a car. Oh, yeah, the latest Morjcast was from a car. Yeah, people enjoy the car Morjcasts. They used to all be me driving around, like, people who don't know. People who used to be Yonko tier members for 4 years ago. 4 years ago, 3 years ago, I used to record Morjcasts when I was driving back from my editor's house after recording the chapter review. That was the easiest time for me to record. But ever since I moved, I no longer go to my editor's house to record or anything. Also, fun fact, like, people... a lot of people still, like, they see clips of me inside, like footage of me inside, like a big house or fancy living room or stuff like that, and they're like, oh, that's Morj's house. No, that's shot at my editor's house. And, like, some B-roll footage in, like, sponsor segments you'll see inside that sort of area. And that's, like, no, when I visit Maryland, when I visit my hometown, we make sure to get a lot of B-roll during that time to fit it in. But anyway, like, it's just funny to me that people are like, that's Morj's house, or that's where he used to live. It's like, no, I never lived there. Yeah, anyway, Morjcasts nowadays, though, I have to record here at home in my apartment because I don't have there's not like a standard reason that I'm driving 20 minutes right after a chapter, you know? I can die happy now. BTW, read Kingdom soon. I got Kingdom on the list. The list is really fucking long. You know what? Yeah, I think you guys can do a vote for next manga that Morj has to read. We could do that. Somebody mentioned first chapter. I could read the first chapter on stream. Kingdom already read the first arc, but, you know, we'll see. Because I can show you guys. I haven't shown you guys my list. I think a lot of you guys don't even believe that I have a list, but I have a list. It's a long-ass list is the thing. Samuel Hart, thanks for the 3 OG Admirals podcast. Yeah, I think that's kind of dull. I just don't think Akainu's a very... I think with podcasts, you can't... I just feel like, to me... Well, one, I'm not a big podcast listener anyway, but I feel like I don't think Akainu's an interesting person to have on a podcast just because he's a very... At least not as a regular person. Like, as a one-time guest, maybe, but... He's a very rigid thinker. I think you need to be more... You need... Like, there needs to be more that allows dialogue to flow for avenues of conversation to go certain ways without there being a hard wall every time. I don't think Akainu is that type of guy. I think Aokiji is a bit lazy in putting forward his opinions and everything. And so is Kazai. They're either too wishy-washy with actually putting out their opinions, or they're like Akainu who's just fucking hard set. Justin Holland, thanks for the 5. Out of the barrel, Luffy seems to be among the, if not the best intro based on how it represents him. I'm not going to go that far, but I think it's great. I think it's perfect for his character. It is definitely perfect for his character, and it's a really, really whimsical way to start the journey. It sets the vibe really well. I'm especially a big fan of it because of how they do it in the anime. Because in the anime, episode 1 of the anime, it makes you... I don't know. There's something so simple and nostalgic and lighthearted adventure about it. It's just that you don't start with Luffy. You actually start with Nami. I believe Nami's the first Straw Hat that you see, unless I'm crazy. Unless they show Luffy in the whirlpool to begin with. I forget. But it's like Nami robbing a ship. And then the Alvida pirates, I believe, attack. And then we get to the barrel. Luffy getting out of the barrel. I don't know. It just sets the scene and lets you... There's nothing frantic about it. It draws you into, this is a pirate world, right? This is the pirate world. This is the atmosphere, the ambience, the style. It just feels very simplistic. I really like it for that time. It feels like a very, very different from the series today. Could giants know the secrets to King's Haki? I would be surprised if if there wasn't a giant with Conqueror's Haki, you know? One thing about Conqueror's Haki that's interesting is that before we used to have like characters using advanced Conqueror's Haki, so actually using it in combat. That's a newer thing that we're kind of realizing, right? Because before this, it was kind of just like, okay, if a character has Conqueror's Haki, that's just a sign. It doesn't actually improve their battle ability, right? Because like characters before this was like Doflamingo, Katakuri, Ace, like. Lots of character, pretty much like Don Chinjao. Everyone had Conqueror's Haki, but it didn't really mean anything. And then it became, oh wait, but some characters can actually use advanced Conqueror's Haki. Like they can use Conqueror's Haki in battle, right? That's very new. And it felt like, okay, that's really rare. Like characters that can use Conqueror's Haki, that feels like a dime a dozen, but people who can use the actual combat implementation of it, that feels very, very rare. And now it's starting to feel like, no, okay, almost any character that we're going to get introduced to that has Conqueror's Haki is going to immediately be able to use the advanced version of it, right? Because, like, Zoro, Yamato, like, now it's kind of like, okay, basically what I'm saying, like, if a giant we meet has Conqueror's Haki, I would assume that they can also just use the advanced version of it, right? Whereas before it felt a little bit, like, when it was initially introduced, it was like, oh, okay, only the few strongest can is what Kaido says. But then very quickly by the end of Wano, it's like, okay, it feels like if a character is using Conqueror's Haki, then from here on, we can probably assume that they have advanced Conqueror's Haki. Like, I'm kind of thinking, like, okay, if a Kainu's a Conqueror's Haki user, hypothetically, then I would just also assume that he's an advanced Conqueror's Haki user. So it's almost like, I don't know, knowing the secrets of Conqueror's Haki, it's almost like I feel like at this point, Oda won't introduce Conqueror's Haki users unless he's also going to make them advanced Conqueror's Haki users. Does that make sense? Okay. All right, let's get into it. Let's get into this stuff. Okay. Tom, thanks for the 5. Actually, let's get the stream likes up to 160 real quick. We'll start once we get to 160. In the meantime, let me answer this. Tom says, Morj, Vegapunk's Devil Fruit doesn't make the user more intelligent. It just lets them store and retain more information, which is good for Vegapunk since he's smart. Is that actually true? Is that clarified anywhere? Let me actually look this up on the wiki. One Piece Vegapunk Devil Fruit. I didn't know that. I did not know that. It's called the Nomi. Ah, okay. Allows the user's brain to expand indefinitely with new knowledge, making the user a brains human. Ah. This also comes down a little bit to, like, people's definitions of intelligence. Is it how much you know? How well you can... For some people, it's how well you can problem solve. Some people, it's how well you can, compute. Some people, it's how much you can, like, critical reasoning. I mean, I guess a lot of this is extrapolations of others, of the same thing. But others is, like, coming up with new ideas, creativity, etc. Okay. But either way, like, you would become a lot... Like, the more information you can retain, that is ultimately gonna matter in many ways, right? It would make you... would it allow you to just create new inventions? I don't think so, right? In theory, it doesn't increase your capacity for that. No, but at the same time, it could. Because if you're able to, process tons and tons of schematics and knowledge of how machinery is made, right? And you're just able to have all of that information stored in your brain, it would increase your capacity for being able to create new inventions as well, You just have more to draw upon. But obviously that's not, it's not the same as Vegapunk, who just naturally is really, really brilliant, and then additional knowledge would just help him with that. Okay. All right. Am I screen sharing yet? Nope. Okay. All right. Let's get into it. Oh, wait. There's something I have to do. Something really, really big that people have been asking me to do for a bit now. Hold on. Do I know how to do this? I gotta change the color. How do I change the color of chat? I know how to do this. I know how to do this. How do I do this? Fuck, man. How do I do this? Chat highlight? Message settings. Yeah, message text color. Wait. No. Hold on. I want to change the color to white. And that'll be the easiest for you guys to see. How the fuck do I change this shit? Okay, I see now. All right. Text color. Here we go. Fuck. Come on, let me change it. All right, there we go. Okay. Did I do it? Okay, I think I did it. All right. What are you guys seeing? I see white. I see white on my end. Manny, thanks for the 5. Kaido and Odin, SA tier intro in my opinion. Super badass and cool. Odin? Plus, well, I play Final Fantasy VII Rebirth after Tears of the Kingdom. I've heard so many things about Final Fantasy VII. Which version I should play? So some people say play like the original, that's just like remastered or something. Then there's like a remake. Hasn't it been like remade like a bunch of times? Like there was Final Fantasy VII, then there was another version that came out, and now there's Rebirth. I don't fucking understand which one's the correct version. I kind of just want to play whatever the classic version is, just like the remastered version, I guess, or like the updated version for graphics or whatever. Did I fix it? Yep. You guys good? All right. Oh, wait a second. But now it's bad because now the entire screen is white, right? So, terrible timing for me to change it, right? Unless, let me see. What's it looking like for you guys? You know what? It's whatever. It's whatever. Most people look at the side YouTube chat anyway, right? Okay. Tom says, Morj, if someone like Luffy ate the brain fruit and then read 10 books on rocket science, they still wouldn't understand anything. That's true. That's true. Although, I mean, I think that's a simplistic look at intelligence because I do think like a lot of, because they're able to retain the information, right? And I do think that to some degree, understanding is based on, being able to understand new things is based on having foundation of being able to remember previous information and build a foundation on that, right? So I think it still would help Luffy. It's just, it would help him significantly. You would get much less out of giving that fruit to Luffy and having him read 10 books on rocket science than someone like Vegapunk. But yeah, I do think that just knowledge and the relationship between knowledge and intelligence is very, very complicated, and a lot of it's intertwined. And it's obviously not like, oh, just having knowledge makes you really smart, right? It's not as though people that win Jeopardy and know the most trivia are the smartest people. But at the same time, being able to retain lots of information and build off of that is tied to intelligence, right? And being able to draw on past knowledge and utilize that is tied to intelligence in certain ways, right? A lot of people's definitions vary. Intelligence isn't just knowledge or trivia, but at the same time, intelligence isn't just like, I don't think it's just pure raw X's and O's computational power. I think that there's a mix. One draws upon the other. So I do think that even Luffy, he would understand more with that fruit if he was able to use that fruit than he does right now, right? He would over time be able to understand more about rocket science and how that works than he does now, you know? I mean, we even see Luffy being able to retain information better. He just forgets very quickly, right? He forgets very quickly, but he understands Haki. You know, he understands basics of Haki. He's able to retain information about devil fruits, and he knows devil fruit types and stuff over time. It takes him a while to learn that, but because usually it's in one ear, out the other. But with this fruit, it wouldn't be. It would be in one ear, and then it stays, and then the next time he learns a bit more, that would also stay, and it kind of builds. In theory, it's something. Okay. Oh, you guys want it back to black? All right, we could take it back to black, because now I know how to change it easily. Hold on. Oh, wait, no. You know what? I know for this. Okay, for this, I'll just do... I know what to do. Okay? All right. So I'm going to add a text box here. You guys don't even understand what I'm doing. It's so brilliant. This way, every time I change it from like full screen me to the text box... Actually, it's not worth doing it. I'll just change it manually every time. Okay, let's change it here. All right, we're going to take it back to black. This is probably why I made it black in the first place. Hello? How do I do this? Hello? I don't know how to do this. All right. I lied when I said I knew how to do it. Okay, that should do it. All right, we should be back on track. Kaido had the best intro. I got Kaido arguably as the best intro. Okay. Aliato5, thanks for the 10. Don't know if someone told you yet, but the Bokutsu is indeed a yokai, just a very obscure one from the Tosa Obake Zoshi. Let me know if you post another video tomorrow that says it's a One Piece original. I'm not posting a video tomorrow that says it's a One Piece original, but thank you very, very much for telling me that. Let's actually take a quick look at that right now. Thanks for sharing that, because I imagine a lot of us didn't know that either. Tosa, what is it? Tosa Obake Zoshi. The reason I'm looking it up is just because I'm curious about if it has any particular powers or anything like that. Okay. Because we've seen ice stuff, you know? Bakotsu. This is what I'm seeing. What the hell is this? It's a Twitter post. So it's a yokai from this. I guess I just don't really know what exactly the details are, but it seems like it's a collection of yokai tales. Alright, we'll look into that. Remix King says, show your manga list before we start. No, I'll do that another stream. I'll do that another stream, because I have to collect more. Like, I have to... Because there's notes on my phone for manga to read. I have a My Anime list. That is a list of things I don't want to see. But then I have notes on my phone, and then notes on a notepad on the other computer as well. Because, like, sometimes people tell me, try this, and I don't have something... I don't have My Anime list up, so then I won't necessarily add it right then. Tala says, Arthur says that the version in One Piece is mostly an original inspired by European ideas of a skeleton ghost. I mean, I don't know. I don't know enough about this thing or that thing to say either way, which is correct. Zirzu Flevans, thanks for the 5. I'm gonna count Leo exploring Robin's jungle brush as his intro. That is his intro, yeah. Okay, let's see. Okay. Okay. Do we want to do... Let's do Straw Hats first. Do you want to do Straw Hats first or second? I missed Fuzishumi's super chat. I'm sorry. Let me catch that real quick. I did, yeah. Oh, this is from Japan. Damn. Five Elders theory. Their abilities are based on domesticated animals. Sandworm is another name for ragworms, and the kanji for that has the kanji for silkworm. Does this imply something about emu? But, okay, so I was going to say Saturn's based off a spider, but he's also based off an ox. Then horse, pig, bird. Kind of see sandworm. I feel like that's a little too soft for me to really say anything concrete on that, just because I don't think of that for, like, I mean, I get the connection with worms, but couldn't he have done something a bit more clear if that was the... Because to me, for Saturn, I think of a spider first, rather than an ox. It feels more like the spider part is the standout part about him. And then on top of that, we've got... you know, like, we don't have a dog, we don't have a cat, like the more traditional ones. It's a bit of a stretch for me to think that... I mean, and Mercury's not even a pig, he's a boar, which is not really domesticated. So I don't really exactly have that. Okay. Let's do... You want to do Straw Hat intros first or total? Let's do a poll. Akash Panda says, Morj spiders are pets too. Yeah, but they're not, I mean, but then at that point it's kind of like, they're not what you think of normally when you think of domesticated animals, so it's kind of, to me it's just a bit of a stretch. You know, like Mike Tyson has a tiger as a pet, if you want to go there. Okay, yeah, let's do Straw Hats first. We're gonna do both. Let's just do Straw Hats first, and then we'll get that out of the way. Not out of the way, but that's like the warm up, and then we'll get into the big guns. Okay, we're gonna do Straw Hats first. We'll also rank amongst what do you call? The straw, like if some of the straw hat intros feel really, really good, we can rank those against the broader group base, you know. So this is just straw hats over here. Okay. Kosh Panda says, Morj, if we're counting worms, then why not spiders? I barely count worms, personally. Like, to me, these don't stand out in my head as Oda trying to do something with domesticated animals. To me, it's more like domesticated animals, the first things you think of are generally not worms, spiders, and I don't think they're even, like, top 10 things you would normally think of first. That's also not really what domesticated means, right? Spiders, you can have them as, you can trap them as pets, but they're not domesticated. A horse is domesticated. A horse is somewhat domesticated, yeah. Okay. I see a lot of people putting Sanji number 1. I personally let's take a quick trip down memory lane here, right? You know what's crazy is that if Bonnie becomes a Straw Hat, then her introduction at Sabaody was her introduction. You know, like kind of a lot more low key than any of the other Straw Hats. She was just thrown into a large ensemble. Okay, I think Zoro's got a really good introduction. I think Sanji's introduction does edge him by a bit. I don't know. There's more of a scene for Sanji's introduction. I think Robin's is number 1 though. Personally, I think Robin's is number 1. You know, let me pull up Robin's real quick. Because Robin, she was introduced as, you know, Miss All Sunday. She was introduced as basically a very high-level threat. Okay, so we covered this. Like, we were introduced to her with her blowing up Igaram. Seemingly killing Igaram. Was Igaram the first of One Piece's, like, major death fake-outs? Was he the first one? I don't know. I think this is a cool scene. Very cool scene. Entire crew's turning on her. She handles them easily. Takes Luffy's hat. I don't know. I think that she left a big impact. Just the mystery of it. And she's... Oh, fuck. I forgot about this turtle. Okay, well, the turtle makes it... Okay, forgot about... I wonder how the turtle's doing. Do you think she was attached to the turtle? She had like a friend. Let's go bunch. The turtle makes it basically unfair because it's a automatic number 1. But even if you take out the turtle, I still think she's got a good case. Turtle basically makes it unfair, so turtle's number, like, come on. She's like, she showed up on a fucking like, what is this? A turtle with a fedora smoking a cigarette? She's got her fancy couch and shit. Like, it's unfair. Yeah, we never see the turtle again. It's kind of sad. Like, what was this her friend? Like, did she have a pet that she cared about? I don't know. Because you never see Robin being like, she's always like a loner. But she had this turtle. I guess she and the turtle weren't that tight. But the turtle makes it obviously, I think you'd have to be insanely biased to argue against the turtle. Beyond that, I feel like Sanji's is gonna be second, right? Well, let's pull up Zoro and Sanji's. Zoro's is more of a dramatic and personal scene, and Sanji's is more of a, I guess, stylish scene. This is a badass panel. I always thought it was really cool that Zoro's being built up even before his introduction with, you know, the idea, like, Kobe literally, like, the first, like, literally, Kobe says something about, yeah, aura. The first character that has aura, like, an intimidating aura in One Piece, it's Zoro. So this is cool. This is a good character scene. I think this is a really good character scene, actually, the more I'm reading it. The rice balls. This is a great panel. I think I'm leaning towards Zoro's above Sanji's. I think that there's more substance to this scene, and I like this moment quite a bit that he chose to do this. I think there's more substance to this scene. I've got Zoro's above Sanji's. Let's look at Sanji's again. Sanji's gonna be like chapter 43 probably. Yeah. Sanji's scene is obviously very stylish. I think it has less substance than Zoro's. Like, this is a cool scene. This is a cool scene. I also really like that he's being introduced with this, the plate on his head, and I don't know. It's a cool introductory panel for sure. I was leaning towards Sanji's beforehand, but I had to reread Zoro's. And then we cut back. Oh no, all this. This is just it's a cool scene. Like, there's not that much to say about it, but it's a, you know, it gets the character across really well. It's entertaining. It's a very entertaining scene. Seeing, just seeing this pompous ass who already kind of was firing at our ship get fucked up. It's a great scene. Goomba Boomba, thanks a lot. Did we predict any of the new yokai correctly? No, not a single one. I mean, we're not going to get Sandworm. We're not going to get Bakotsu when it barely exists. But I thought we had a good shot at Mercury. Thought we had a really good shot at Mercury. Morj was just I don't know. The final storm, thanks to the 2. Hey, Morj, how would Kid in Law versus the Gorosei go? Oh, it would be embarrassing. Come on. Kid in Law versus any Gorosei? It's not like Blackbeard, who's going to fumble around for a bit before he finishes characters off. And it's not like Big Mom, who, like, you know how she gets amnesia? She got amnesia on how to fight during that entire chapter, or that entire little battle with them. It's not like that. The Gorosei would, come on now. You're just sending Kid-in-Law off to slaughter, basically. It's kind of like, as far as I can tell, the Gorosei are supposed to be so far. I'm just saying Admiral level right now. Maybe they're going to be a little bit weaker overall, maybe a little bit stronger. We don't know. I could easily see them being stronger. So far, Saturn has been portrayed as the bigger bad compared to Kizaru so far. Whether that's purely a strength thing or how it is just trying to frame the main villain of the arc, that's up to interpretation. But like Kid and Law together, I think they can beat this Gorosei. I'm gonna say that because I do think Kid and Law together could beat an Admiral. I personally think. But individually, because I assume you mean individually, no. Come on now, Gorosei. Come on now. Oh, we guessed it, Tsumade? I literally don't remember. I thought we got it all wrong. Did we get it, Tsumade? Did we get it, Tsumade? Let's take a look. Did we get it? Wait, did we? Can somebody tell me? Can somebody confirm? Did we get it, Tsumade? Dr. Doom, thanks for the 2. Thanks for the 2. Does Venus already have better feats than Mihawk? Yeah, but like that's because Mihawk hasn't done anything. You know, I'm not saying Venus is stronger than Mihawk. So I'll calm down. But better feats, yeah. But like, fucking half the people we've met in the New World have better feats than Mihawk at this point. We're talking about shown feats, right? Like shown feats. If you want to talk about Mihawk like dueling, like his duels with Shanks, that's a different story. But shown feats, yeah, like every other day you find somebody with better shown feats than Mihawk. Predicted Itsumade? All right, we'll take it. We'll take it. All right, good shit. That's pretty good. 1 out of 4. 1 out of 4. That's pretty good. Yokai Gotas it isn't a Morj stream unless he copes about the Big Mom fight. Wait, look, I said Kid and Law together. They could take a Gorosei. They can take a Gorosei for sure. But 1-on-1? No, of course not. Come on now. Kid and Ferret Butter Altine says Kid and Law got 3 billion with almost no Haki. Yeah, it's a miracle. It's a miracle. Although to be honest, Law should have a much higher bounty. Law should have a bounty. It makes no. Law's bounty, by every basic angle of simplistic economy and logic that you can think of, should be the highest in the world right now. It should be 5 billion. There's no reason. It should literally just say 5 billion wanted alive. That's Law's bounty. That's all it should be. It should just say 5 billion wanted alive. There's no logical reason that it's not that. So Law actually has a lower bounty than he should. But because we're going by, I guess, Law's pirate career bounty, which is what it seems to be based on, 3 billion is obviously way too high. It should be 1 billion something at best. Wrench Dodger 2000 says Kid has better feats than Mihawk. Yeah, like we meet random people every week that have better feats than Mihawk. That doesn't make them stronger than Mihawk, because like these characters also have better feats than Dragon, right? Like some characters just haven't shown feats yet. Ooh, thanks for the 2. The streets are saying Imu is an Umibozu. Tala says Law, Kizaru. Morj says Law has no Haki feats, but I ain't seen any from Kizaru. Here. Kizaru, Akainu, Aokiji. This is one of the largest uses of, like, if you just base it off of the, obviously it's 3 of them together, but if you just base it off of the range of this is like one of the largest uses of Ryo, like using Haki to create a shield, that we've ever seen. Right? Comparing Kid and Law, like I don't even know how to explain how bad Law's Haki is, because he doesn't even know how to coat his blade black. He doesn't even know how to coat his blade black. Like, that's what, like, Dressrosa Zoro was doing that. He doesn't even know how to put, like, he doesn't even know how to, like, it's just, he doesn't even know how to turn his, like, use Haki on his fucking sword, like, coat his sword with Haki. It's just like forget advanced Ryo, forget advanced Conqueror's Haki or advanced Future Sight and stuff. Like, forget advanced armament Haki. He can't even do basic armament Haki on his, like, he can't use black clothing. Black clothing. He can't use black coating on his sword. What the fuck? All right. Anyway, looking at this. Okay, so right now, what I've got, Robin's is obviously number 1. If I'm being honest, Zoro's scene is probably, it's more, like, Robin's is cooler, Robin's is hype. Zoro's scene is probably the best character writing scene that I can think of between him and Sanji and Robin. So right now I either got Robin or Zoro at number 1. I got Sanji at 2. Chopper's introductory scene is basically just grabbing Luffy. Usopp's introduction scene is weak, I think. I think it's maybe better than Chopper's. Usopp, because it establishes character well. Chopper, abominable snowman, but we don't like it. Chopper's scene is grabbing Luffy when he's about to fall from Drum Kingdom, Drum Island's peak, but it's not really it's not much to the scene. I'm a pirate. Thanks for being a Yonko tier member for 11 months. Sorry for yelling. I realized I just raised my volume very quickly. I don't know if this has been mentioned, but it's possible that Vegapunk will broadcast the destruction of Lulusia Kingdom. Oh shit! No, I figured that he would tell the world about it, but yeah, just broadcasting it to everybody would be insane. And also, they don't have, like, Photoshop and video editing and shit during this time, so people believe the things that they're shown on TV, that they're not edited or anything like that, you know? I think Zoro's is probably better than Robin's when I think about it. Although Robin had the turtle, but Zoro's is actually a character writing, like, it's a good scene, like, probably low-key some of, like, that's in the entirety of the story, Zoro and Luffy's most in-depth interaction might have been, or at least one of Zoro and Luffy's most in-depth interactions, not the most, but one of Zoro and Luffy's most in-depth interactions was in that first chapter. Reo Chiha, thanks for the, wait, did I miss anything? 1 second. Some little Mexican says, Law broke out of Doc Q's disease with Haki, though. That just means that Doc Q's ass. That doesn't mean that Law's good. Alright, anyway. Where are we at? Reo Chia, thanks for the 10. I still think that Imu will have an ink-based power that can create living images. Let's read the rest of it. There is a character in Inuyasha that used ink to make demons that couldn't be killed until the user was killed. But how does that fit with being a Zoan? I mean, I could see that be like, because Oda can make any Zoan do anything, like the Nika fruit. I could definitely see this angle just because I'm buying into more so the possibility that the Gorosei are created, and plus it would be a really, really cool matchup to see Luffy as like this like reality warping, like like a manga character that breaks the rules of manga, kind of like that uses manga or like cartoon rules, fighting a character that can redraw reality in a sense. I think that would be a amazing matchup to read. But I don't know if that's definitely the case with Imu. I don't know. Oda might just go with something more straightforward. Okay, Maya, thanks for being a Yonko tier member for 7 months, man. Robin equals only intro to make Sanji pull a gun and threaten a woman. Robin's intro rules. It is a big deal, but I also think that might just be Oda being a little bit inconsistent with, or not inconsistent, but like, as the series, we've all seen Sanji's character kind of progress as the series has gone. I guess some might say regress, in that the no hit, like his bias towards women to not harm them, etc. It gets played up more and more later on as the series goes, and now it's gotten to an excessive point where it's not even just like that he really loves women. It's kind of, no, he's kind of recovered from the nosebleed phase. That was the worst era of Sanji, but I don't think he's as pervy, etc. nowadays, at least in Egghead Island, as he was pre. But that's a separate subject, right? This is the only time that Sanji threatened a woman with violence, but I also think that it's just early goings. I don't think that there was something about Robin that's so different from Khalifa or something to Sanji that he was like, no, I need to threaten her. Like, even Big Mom, I don't know if Sanji would pull a I think that was just early goings, because people forget, but even like Zoro getting lost as a swordsman, right? That wasn't even played up that much early on. If you remember, Zoro and Luffy both get sidetracked in Syrup Village, and they end up going different directions and get stalled. In that case, Zoro gets stuck because he gets stuck like having difficulty getting up a slippery slope, but he's able to find his way back. But Luffy is actually the one that gets confused about directions and runs the wrong way, and he mixes up his, compass directions or whatever. Whereas nowadays you would have a totally opposite scene. You would have Zoro being the one who couldn't find his way back due to being directionally challenged, and Luffy would have some other dumb excuse, So for a long time it was kind of even like early One Piece, like Luffy was even portrayed as worse at directions till Oda realized that it would be a really funny gag to run with Zoro to always getting lost. Anyway, Wrench Dodger 2000 says, bro, he offered to be Stussy's dog. Yeah, never mind. I'm literally forgetting. Yeah, it's still bad. It's still bad. It wasn't as bad early on. It just wasn't as bad early on. It just got worse. Okay. I forgot about the dog thing. Frankie has a phenomenal intro, right? Nami's is good. Nami's is a nice little scene. It's a cheeky little scene. Putting Nami's right there. Let's get rid of the ranking. It makes it easier to rank. Yeah, Nami's is a nice little scene. Tricks people. Also, anime, she got some good focus early on, but I guess that's not a real debut. Frankie's opening scene is phenomenal. Let's pull up Frankie's opening scene. We're not counting the scene where he's in a mask beating up Usopp. That doesn't count. Faces matter. Alright, so it's going to be what? Chapter 330 something maybe? No, a little bit later. Probably 336, 35? Oh, okay. We're getting there. Oh, here we go. Alright. Frankie's scene, especially with the anime, is something special. The anime makes it something special. How much do we value the anime here? I know I normally don't value the anime, but come on. Like, you have to remember that the anime does matter because Oda heard the voice actor for Mr. 2. I believe this is what it is. Like Mr. 2, hold on. I believe that Oda heard the voice actor for Mr. 2, and he liked him so much that he wanted him again for Frankie, and he even taught some aspects of Frankie with that voice in mind, you know? So I feel like it should matter to some degree. Also, I was in 6th grade when I was watching this part of Water 7. So I was 11 years old. And I loved watching this part so much. Like anytime Frankie did his poses, especially with the wind up, like this part, and then doing the pose, I loved that so much. We were on vacation with my family in Spain, and like we would be in like, I don't know, like if we're at a random place like a museum or like exploring some old decayed sort of place, or like just random places throughout the trip, I would start doing this. I would do the Frankie pose, and my family was like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "They don't understand." I was that meme of like, "They don't know, but I'm like blank. They don't know, but I think I'm Frankie." So Frankie's intro, like, it's not just his intro. Obviously, he does this stuff a lot throughout the arc, and I just thought that was the coolest thing. I used to be a huge Frankie fan, and then Oda did the most stuff possible to make it impossible to be a Frankie fan. Because he just, like, eliminated him from the story and cut out all of his fucking dialogue and character writing. Frankie used to be, like, top 3 or 4 straws for me. Easily. Top 4, probably. But, yeah, a lot happened. Or a lot didn't happen. Easier to say. Yeah, I think this is, come on. Hey, seawater panty guy. I like how he's pissed at being called that, even though that's clearly what he is. All right. Yo, Mr. Morj, would you rather lose one hand or one leg? You'd rather lose a hand, right? Oh, fuck, I missed one. You'd rather lose a hand. You know, you can deal with that. Losing a leg, it's just, you can't go anywhere. I wouldn't want to lose either, for the record. Straw Choco, thanks for the 5. Sorry for off topic, but relating to Super Chat about Vegapunk broadcasting Lucia, Einstein said his biggest regret was contributions towards the nuke. Interesting. Interesting. I wonder how much Oda timed all, like, I guess the movie Oppenheimer coming, Oda had no idea. But, you know, just the timing's interesting. Sometimes synchronicity and shit, you know? Wally Rabs, okay, we're not, mods, I need you guys to be tighter on these type of supers, but that is kind of funny. Oswald, Climmy, Talha, you are allowed to delete those sort of supers. Morj was the kid in the family hitting anime poses on international vacations. LMAO's Reg Dodger 2000. Oswald Kimmy says, today I learned Morj was a cool kid. I was 11. I was like, I'm watching the best series ever right now, One Piece. I didn't tell my family that really, but I was just like, I'm going to hit these Frankie poses and they won't even know what I'm doing. And it'll be cool. All right. Yeah, Frankie easily... is Frankie above Robbins or not? Is Frankie above Robbins? Robin's introduction was... Anime Frankie with the music and everything is above Robin's. He actually has a contending case for number 1. I think Zoro's just has the most depth to it in terms of character writing out of any of these. You kind of forget. I went back and read the scene and I was like, yeah, there's just more to it than the others. Frankie might be above Robin's. Jinbei's introduction, I'm going to be honest, I thought Jinbei's introduction is not that exciting because you guys got to remember, Jinbei's full introduction is when they see him in level 6, right? You guys got to remember that we didn't initially think that Jinbei was ever going to be a Stride, right? So with Jinbei, I was more so excited to finally see the last Shichibukai, the one that was being hyped since chapter like 60 or something like that, you know? Like they were talking about how Arlong was a former ally of Jinbei's, etc. I was really hyped to see Jinbei. So the first time we see him, Jinbei's design is not as exciting as the other Shichibukai. I think a lot of this is going to feel really grating to you guys because everybody loves Jinbei now, but the other Shichibukai, I'd say only Moria had a lamer, quote-unquote, design. Like, you know, we're used to, like, the fishmen are scary and badass and everything, and Jinbei was a very, you know, he's this fat, old-looking, like, not even old and wise, but, like, fat, middle-aged looking Shichibukai that doesn't seem all that cool, and he's tied up and stuff. It's not as exciting as meeting any of the other Shichibukai, except Moria. But, like, you know, Crocodile, really cool badass design when introduced, doing some badass shit. Mihawk, obviously. Hancock. Doflamingo making a big scene at Marijua. Kuma, same, like, there's a lot more to the other Shichibukai's introductions. Jinbei, I have to base it on how hype I was to finally see him as a character, right? Because these other characters, they're coming out of nowhere, so just getting to meet them and they're making an impression. Whereas with Jinbei, it's kind of like, excited to see the last Shichibukai that we haven't seen yet. Okay, that was underwhelming. Design underwhelming. No real cool thing for him to do in his intro except say, please, Luffy-san, get me out of prison. You know, it's not exciting to me. I'm going to put Jinbei actually towards the bottom because I thought that his scene was underwhelming to me. Waiting on the 7th Shichibukai to be shown, I didn't find him exciting compared to the other Shichibukai. So Jinbei's was underwhelming. Brooks was cool. I'd put Brooks right here. I might put Brooke here. No, actually, I cannot judge Brooks. Because I was on a One Piece break when Brooke was introduced. So, like, post Water 7, because the way I kind of worked back then, like, I'd caught up anime-wise, was peeking ahead in the manga and everything like that. So what I was trying to do is, like, let the anime... I wanted to go back to being an anime-only viewer, because I'd cheated ahead reading manga during Enies Lobby. So I was letting the Thriller Bark episodes kind of accumulate, and it had to get through this fucking Don Achino arc first, which I actually enjoyed, by the way. I don't know why I said fucking Don Achino arc, but I enjoyed this filler arc. So I wasn't reading the manga, I was just watching the weekly filler arc, and letting the manga go, because I wanted the anime to go through and everything. And then eventually I just got, like, I got tired of it, I peeked ahead, so I kind of skipped ahead in Thriller Bark. So I skipped ahead already to the point where, like, we're getting shown ores in, like, the frozen chamber and everything like that. So where I met Brooke was already a bit ahead of when he's actually introduced. Obviously, I went back and reread the beginning of Thriller Bark, so I got all that, but I didn't actually... The first time I saw Brooke was not in... The first Brooke scenes I saw were not his actual introduction scenes, so I can't fairly judge Brooke. I personally think that Nami's scene is a bit more of an interesting little scene, but I might be wrong. I'll let you guys vote on that. Rodrigo Aliaga, thanks a lot. Morj, thoughts on Gorosei Denden Mushi having Top Man's mustache? Might seem like a joke in One Piece, but it could be a sign. Also loving the podcasts. So, thanks. I hope you guys enjoy the podcasts. For those of you who don't know, you get the podcast weekly if you're a Yonko tier member or up. It comes out every Friday. Again, glad you guys are enjoying it. We've had a lot of people a lot more people joining the podcast in the last couple of years, or year, sorry. As for the Gorosei talking Top Man's mustache, I've said for some time now, and you'll see in tomorrow's video, I do think that Top Man is probably the strongest of the Gorosei. I think it's either him or Jupiter. There's arguments for both. But the flip side is if Top Man's the strongest, then I think Jupiter's probably fourth. You guys will understand when I don't think there's a lot of in-between for Jupiter. You guys will understand in tomorrow's video. Eyes96, thanks for the 5. It's because of his dirty fishman, fat, and useless blood, isn't it? Hey, come on now. It's... If I'm being 100% honest, it's like the other way, which is like, what do you call? If I'm being 100% honest, it's because, like, I was excited for a cool new fishman design. Not because, like, I was racist against him being a fishman. I was excited for a cool new fishman design, and I saw him, and I'm like, damn, this is like way lamer than like the big boss of the fishmen, because that's kind of how we viewed Jinbei back then. We didn't know all, like, we knew that there was Arlong, we knew there was some other fishmen, etc., but like Jinbei was framed as the big bad boss of the fishmen, you know, like the strongest fishman out there. And then we meet this guy and he's lame. What did I miss? I'm saying, thanks for the 5. Hey, Morj, last time I super chatted you said you had a date the next day. So how'd it go? Also, what are your thoughts on Madara as a villain? I don't know if when you chatted was, it might have actually been, because I'm actually in a relationship now. So I don't know if it's the same girl, but we've been dating since a little bit before Valentine's Day. And then last week we were just like, okay, exclusive, etc. So, yeah, I'm in a relationship now. I don't know if it's the same time that you messaged, but I started seeing her literally February 13th. So if you messaged on, and I feel like that might have been a Tuesday, so maybe you messaged on a Monday stream. So I don't know. Also, what are my thoughts on Madara as a villain? I'm not invested enough. Like, so part of the Madara hype was that, like, if you're like a Naruto fan, you're just really excited about Madara in general, like, because you spent so long just hearing the name over and over. I think I was never enough of a Naruto fan to really feel like a ton of hype for Madara. And I wasn't reading the 4th Shinobi World Great War, like, super regularly weekly, so I was kind of tuning in, and I was hyped for Madara and everything. I actually, like, there's some small thing, like, this is more personal preference stuff, but I thought it was not hype that, like, Hashirama used to kick his ass all the time. So I think a lot of people found Madara really hype because he's so much stronger than the characters today. For me, it's a bit of the reverse, where it's kind of like, okay, so even the toughest bad guy in history, well, he was already the first Hokage's bitch. That just wasn't that exciting to me. I was hoping for some enemy that, like, only Naruto really could be. And then obviously things spiraled, and like Madara got a bunch of power-ups, and like Obito became became the Jinchuriki of the Ten Tails, and then Madara became the Jinchuriki, and then Kaguya. And like obviously things spiraled way past Madara. So for me, it was kind of like this. It was like twofold, which was like, I didn't think Madara was that hype. The more it was established that, like, the first Hokage basically sunned him regularly without effort. Not without effort, but like he was the first Hokage's bitch, right? Like, they were rivals, but in the sense that, like, like, you know, they're rivals in the sense, it's kind of like Luffy and Kid are rivals to me. Okay, like Kid's, like, even on his best day, Kid's not doing shit to Luffy, you know. So I didn't think Madara was that cool during that time. And then even once Madara got all these power-ups to become like this super all-powerful villain, then he got bitched by Kaguya. So I never found Madara to be that cool of a villain, personally. I'm sure there's more character writing-wise and stuff to him that I'm not remembering that's, I'm sure, really good. But I just don't recall it, and I was not that, like, I was reading the 4th Ninja War so passingly, like, just tuning in, mainly for fights and stuff, that, I don't know. I'm saying, since I think you missed my super before Rodrigo's. No, I think I caught you. It's the same one, right? I did go out of order for supers for a second. Then Breezy2X is asking, is Zoro Vegeta better due to Dragonist? I think Zoro. Zoro easy. Zoro easy. Easy. Patty G, thanks for the 5. How did she take it when you told her you talk about Japanese children's comics for a living? Congrats, Mork. Chat is happy for you. No, I mean, I met her off of Hinge, so I do mention that pretty early on, just because, like, you don't want surprises and everything. But I never mention that it's specifically One Piece early on, because I don't want girls looking me, like, I don't want to be stalked. Because, like, if you mention you're a YouTuber and you're a One Piece YouTuber and they have your fucking photo, like, then you could get, like, I could reasonably be found if someone put in 15 minutes of time, basically. So don't mention that. But she's not an anime fan, but she's grown up, like, she's had friends and such who are anime fans, etc. So, like, it wasn't the craziest thing to her. And then she did end up watching, like, a good chunk of the One Piece live action, but she didn't finish it out. But I was like, you don't have to finish it out. Like, you get the idea or whatever. So, yeah, I don't think that matters too much for, like, that's I think that's a thing that I used to think about more, that, like, having an anime career would be really weird or off-putting, but, like, in my time since I've started being more open, just talking about it, I have pretty much never seen, like, that's never been a thing that seems weird to people anymore. So, you know. Nurgangi, thanks for the 5. Movie Morj, Manga Morj, Morj Unleashed, Wano video. Why do you have a habit of overpromising and underdelivering? Stop going for the easy stuff, man. Yeah, that is a bad habit. But that's, you might notice, that's why I've had to learn slowly over time. I think I just overestimate basically how much I can do. Over time, I've stopped Manga Morj, I've stopped Morj Unleashed, I've stopped Movie Morj, I've put pauses on all of those. I have not promised more videos for any of those things. In the future, maybe I'll be able to do those, but at the moment in time, no. And Wano video is the only one that is still basically something that I'm definitely gonna try and make time for and try and finish. But sometimes, yeah, you just, like, that's not a good habit. I think over time I've had to learn my lesson over time in terms of what I can actually manage YouTube channel wise and, like, do a good job on. So yeah, this is where we're at. I had to learn it the hard way, but it's hard to do everything at the same time. Ice96, thanks for the 5. Congrats on the girlfriend, my guy. I take it that she's at the top of the waifu tier list. Alright, we're not bringing up waifu tier list and stuff, so I'm never gonna bring up that phrase around her. I don't think she needs to know. Jay Guap's chat pissed at Morj's racism towards fishmen, and rightfully so. Wait, what? No, I'm not. It's the opposite. I thought Jinbei would be a lot cooler, and he was... Okay, let's be honest. Who thought that Jinbei's design was genuinely cool when they first saw him? Who did not think, like, you know, like, come on. Like, come on. Who thought that was cool? I thought, like, I thought it was a disappointing design as far as the Shichibukai go. I think only Moria was worse. Tom says, I dare you to send her a stream link. No, she's watched streams. She's watched streams. I don't know if she's watching literally right now. But she's watched streams, even though I told her not to a while back. Like, she knows the channel. She's watched streams. You guys thought Jinbei was cool when he was covered in blood, Morj? He was cool as fuck? No, I'm saying his actual design, not the fact that he happened to be injured at the moment in time. Come on, you guys did not think Jinbei was a cool design the first time. Okay, Jinbei... No, he did... Alright, I refuse to accept. Jinbei's staying at the bottom of the list. Brook versus Nami, we can discuss. Usopp's here, Chopper's here. Jinbei, just the most disappointing Shichibukai introduction. No aura whatsoever. Just this out-of-shape old dude. Not any sort of menacing design for a fishman. And his first words out of his mouth are basically like, please, Luffy-san, you gotta get me out of here, right? It's not like, it's not a cool introduction by any stretch of the imagination. You want a cool Shichibukai introduction, I'm comparing to, like, Mihawk, right? I'm comparing to, like, Boa Hancock, who we got one arc ago. First thing she did was turn an entire Vice Admiral's Marine battalion to stone and, like, have a Vice Admiral basically, like, injured on his hands and knees, right? Like, that's not, Jinbei's not doing this shit that other Shichibukai are doing. Like, Doflamingo, first thing he's doing is challenging Sengoku to a fight and turning two Vice Admirals against each other, right? Crocodile, first thing he's doing is, like, taking out an entire group of pirates and everything. Like what do you guys talk about? How is Jinbei as cool as that? The first time we see him, he's like, no. Design-wise, not as good as the other Shichibukai, minus Moria. And scene-wise, he's not doing anything that's impressive whatsoever, that wows you like the other Shichibukai. And 3, it's not even like, you know, like, sure, Blackbeard didn't wow us with action right off the bat, but he's giving us some, like, crazy cool quotes and memorable, like, dialogue. And Jinbei's not doing that either. It's literally just like, please, you gotta get me the fuck out of here. How is Jinbei... Like, no, as far as Shichibukai introductions go, his is the worst, minus maybe Moria. I think there's no, like, how do you even How do you even compare? Like, compare Jinbei to Mihawk? No. Like, introductions only. Jinbei to Mihawk? No. Jinbei to Doflamingo? No. Jinbei to Hancock? No. Jinbei to Crocodile? No. Like, across the board, he's nowhere near as exciting as the other Shichibukai. Jinbei to Blackbeard? No. Like, come on now. Jinbei to Kuma? Even Kuma had more intimidating of an aura when he was first introduced, the way he spoke, than Jinbei. Like, design, no. What he does, no. No. It's just most disappointing Shichibukai introduction. There's no question about it. I think if I did a poll, I think it's because I'm ragging on Jinbei, so you guys are viewing it like this, but if I did a poll on, like, each Shichibukai's introduction, like, compare this to this, and you guys had to read each scene side by side, there'd be no question that Jinbei's is the worst out of all of them. All right. We're gonna move along. Rodrigo Aliaga says Shichibukai that don't paint their swords greater than. All right. Clint says, Morj, you're not lying, but over time I started to appreciate him. That's the thing. Like, I think people are using their current bias towards Jinbei to bolster how they felt about him at the time, right? Like, now we like Jinbei. But it's kind of like, I like Bonnie as a character now. I'm not going to say that she had the coolest introduction out of the Supernova. She didn't. It was an average-ish introduction. There was nothing special about it. All right. Let's move it along. All right. I think Zoro's is the best, then Robin or Frankie. Let's see. Ooh, this is tight. Okay, tell me this. Which Shichibukai had a less hype introduction than Jinbei? I think Moria is the only one, maybe, and Moria was actually still pretty hype. Because he's introduced in shadows and everything like that. His subordinates are all surrounding him. I think they've successfully fucked up most of the Straw Hat crew so far. Okay, we got Robin above Frankie. Then I got this, basically. This is the final order. If Bonnie's added as Straw Hat, I'll throw it in. Bonnie. Just because it's generic, right? We're not supposed to realize that she's supposed to be special just yet. Alright. Okay. So Straw Hat's greatest. Okay, we got the rankings for the Straw Hats. We got the rankings for the Straw Hats. Zoro, just because it's actually like writing based, good writing stuff, great scene to define the character. Robin, a lot of hype, great aura, mystery, suspense, blah blah blah. Seems like she just killed some character. We feel like she's the big boss of, or the second in command of this huge organization, etc. Frankie, obviously the most style points. Sanji. Really entertaining scene for sure. Nami, it's like it's a snippet of who she is, right? Kind of like the Sanji scene, but a little bit shorter, a little bit simpler. Brook, straightforward, funny, comedy points, surprise factor mainly of his design. Usopp, gets across who he is, but not super memorable in any particular way. Chopper, we barely get a glimpse, and then Jinbei, obviously, as most would acknowledge, a very disappointing Shichibukai reveal. And then Bonnie is made to be, it's meant to be a generic introduction where she's not supposed to stand out in any way compared to the other characters. Okay. Alright, we ready? Let's get to the big stuff. Alright? So, I'm going to throw some names out here. Alright? We're going to throw some names, then we'll start doing the rankings. Alright? Oh wait, let me actually do a 1, 2, 3 sort of thing here. Okay. All right, I'm just going to start by putting down names as we think of them. So, for example, some people might think that just the characters that you think are hype and cool have good introductions, right? That's not how introductions work. I think the Jinbei situation is making me think that that's how you guys think about things, right? Because Jinbei, while obviously having a extremely lame introduction compared to the rest of Shichibukai, we like him as a character, which is why I understand a lot of people want to bump him up in the rankings. That's not how this works. It's based on introductions only, all right? So, based on introductions only, we've got... So Shanks wouldn't make it, for example, right? So Shanks wouldn't make it. Mihawk, I think, is the first great introduction in One Piece. All right? We're just going to list them all out, and then we'll start ranking. Mihawk is the first great introduction. After Mihawk, I don't think... Like, Crocodile's cool, but I don't think Crocodile really makes the list. Dragon. Dragon has a cool introduction. Here's the rules, by the way. Introduction does not have to be just like the first time that their face is shown. It can be a full sort of scene. So, for example, I'd use Blackbeard as the example, right? Because you could say Blackbeard's introduction was technically just the pies and the meat scene with him and Luffy. You could say that it's just that. But I would extend it to the entirety of the bar scene. I would say that that all serves to show Blackbeard's introduction. Starts with the pies and the meat, but it concludes with Luffy's final words to Blackbeard as he leaves the bar. See what I'm saying? Dragon, same thing. I think it's not just, we see... I would count it as the entirety of this chapter, right? Chapter 100. So, like, it's not just this where we're getting to see, his face with these narrator text things. I would count the full chapter. Him stopping Smoker, him letting Luffy loose. I would count the whole thing. Do we think that's fair? Do we think that's fair? It is what it is. It is what it is. We're keeping it, right? Mihawk, Dragon. I don't think Crocodile really makes it in there. Blackbeard, obviously. I'm just going in order. Sengoku, no. Doflamingo had a cool introduction, but nothing crazy. Moving along, then we go to the sky. Whitebeard has... See, for example, Whitebeard, I think, has a relatively weak introduction comparative to what he actually is, right? I view Whitebeard's true introduction... I feel like his first introduction, he's supposed to look kind of almost, like, really huge and imposing, but at the same time, on life support, etc. I view his true introduction as basically at Marineford when he, like, steps out, ready for battle, and does the two punches, the quake punches that shatter the sea, right? Mihawk, Dragon, Blackbeard... Rodrigo Aliaga, thanks a lot. Blackbeard should include Man's Dreams Never End, in my opinion. Yeah, I'm gonna include it. Jade FW, thanks for being a Pirate King tier member for 16 months. Yo Morj, been a great run of chapters. Random question, if Kid was handled differently, in an ideal world, what do you think he could offer the story that Blackbeard doesn't already do narratively? If Kid was handled differently... That's one of the big questions, which is, So here's the thing. I think that Kid's best use, honestly, would have been earlier in the story, because once you're hitting the end game, because he's kind of been worked into the story in the final 10-20%, right? And in this phase of the story, usually that sort of rival figure, they work a lot better when they're included much earlier in the story, when you can kind of have more time for interactions with the main character. Both characters are kind of climbing up the ladder, so there's a bit of a seesaw sort of back and forth, right? The fights are interesting because you can kind of see how far each of them have come. Like a Naruto, Sasuke, even a fucking like Asta or something like that, or like all these rival figures, right? I feel personally feel like when you're at the very end of the story, and that's when Kid's becoming more prominent or Oda tried to introduce him more as a rival, it just feels less relevant, because now's the time that, like, we know that Kid's not supposed to be the big bad, like a final villain of the story, right? So we know we've already got our focus, our sights set on characters like Blackbeard, Akainu, Emu, right? Blackbeard would be Luffy's first and foremost and far more serious and imposing rival among the pirate race, right? There's not as much room for a less serious, less antagonistic, almost friendly rivalry at this point. So I feel like Kid could have offered a really, really good role as a rival earlier on. Maybe if we'd gotten more focus, I'd say if we'd gotten more focus on Kid during the Fishman Island, Dressrosa, Punk Hazard segment, right? We kind of heard what Kid was up to, but some interactions, maybe like running into Luffy or something like that would have been good. Because if you remember, Luffy actually came out of the time skip a little bit behind his rivals, the other supernova, Law and Kid, in terms of notoriety, right? They'd already been doing things, making waves, getting stronger. As far as we know, Kid had already beaten a Sweet Commander pretty recently or something like that. There had higher bounties. Kid had a higher bounty than him. Law had a higher bounty than Luffy. They were just a little bit ahead. I think that Oda could have played into, like, that was when the dynamic would have been most interesting, especially because Kid was also creating, like, Luffy allies with another supernova. And then Kid allies with, like, 2 other supernovas, so making an even bigger alliance. I think that was the time that Oda really had room, maybe, and it would have been most exciting to see a bit of a jockeying for position in terms of who's climbing up the ladder faster and a bit more interaction. We would kind of just get a few cutaways to Kid, never really see him in action, never see any interactions with Luffy, and then next we know he's been defeated by Kaido, and then the Wano arc starts, and by the time the Wano arc starts, there's not really competition anymore. Luffy's coming into the Wano arc, being called the 5th Emperor. He has a higher bounty than not just Kid, but all the other supernovas combined, pretty much. You know, he's just leaps and bounds ahead. He's mastered levels of Haki that Kid is nowhere close to. Like, it's basically like the moment that Luffy actually is put into an arc with his quote-unquote rival, that's the same point in this, like, it's the same turning point in the story that Kid had stopped being an interesting rival, which is the interesting part of it to me, right? Because normally it's the opposite. Like, it's almost exactly like if you look at the Kid and Luffy story, the moment it becomes the least interesting to have this rival figure involved is also the moment that Oda finally made the rival figure incorporated into the story. Whereas Kid would have been much more interesting during that section of time where he and Luffy were probably closer in strength, like Fishman Island, Punk Hazard, Dressrosa, Zou, Whole Cake Island, that stretch of the story before Luffy beats Katakuri and keeps going up. Kid would have been much more interesting included anywhere during that part of the story, and that's also the phase of the story where Kid was kind of portrayed as most competent, having the highest bounty out of the supernovas, having kind of gotten the furthest, making a big alliance, etc. JP says, did he just say Law had a bigger bounty than Luffy? I thought that Law had a bigger bounty than Luffy. Like, what was his Shichibukai bounty? I thought he did. Like, Luffy came out at 400 million. I thought Law was like 440 and Kid was 470, unless I'm forgetting. Wrench Dodger 2000, thanks for being a member for 14 Pirates. Kid Pirates on Thriller Bark, no Kuma. Like, how would they do? I think they would not do well. Well, I don't know. Like, Kid pre-time skip, it's hard to scale him because we never really got to see. Maybe they get past Moria. I think that they got very lucky that whole Thriller Bark arc too, though, to be honest. So I don't know. Also, Luffy was a good matchup against Moria because Moria didn't use Haki, but like Moria had absolutely busted physical attacks. Like, his physical stats were some of the highest you'll see. Period. Like, they're still good. They hold up at New World levels. Like, they're ridiculously strong. But Moria didn't use Haki. That's the one thing. And against Luffy, it doesn't matter how much physical force you use. You need Haki, you know? Okay, continuing. That's a good question that you asked, though. The Jade FW. Yeah, Blackbeard should include that. Yeah, I agree. Yeezy Foshizi, thanks. Who's cooler, Blackbeard, Trafalgar Law, or Akainu? Are you saying introductions? Introductions, I think Blackbeard's the coolest. Are you saying in general? I guess Law's the coolest by, you know, the standard norms of what's cool in the anime realm, you know? Dark-haired, edgy, has some broke abilities, smart, strategic, yada yada. wears good clothes and shit. Oh, I'm talking post time skip. I'm talking post time skip. Like, I was talking about the phase of the story where, because Sabaody and stuff, that's when the supernovas are introduced, right? I'm talking about the section of the story where it was most interesting for Luffy to have this set of rivals, which was post time skip, right? Because Sabaody, we're just finding out about them, and then it's Marineford time. There's no space for the supernovas. Post time skip, though, Luffy's coming out. He's got a 400 million berry bounty, but some others have moved ahead. Like Kid further ahead, 470. Law, 440. Like, the others are just making strides. The point in the story where the supernova stop being interesting rivals is Wano, because Luffy just accelerates so far past them at that. Like, he's the first to be called the Fifth Emperor. He's the first to hit like a 1.5, like above billion berry bounty. Like, after Whole Cake, in terms of notoriety, he's far above them. Notoriety, progress, resources, he's far above the rest of them. And he's above them in strength. And then the further Wano goes, the gap just increase, like the strength gap just balloons exponentially, you know? It stops being interesting. Like, pretty straightforward. Like, put it simply right now, Luffy at the end of Wano can defeat Law, Kid, Hawkins, Apu, X-Drake, Capone Beish. You could throw them all together. Luffy would beat them. Look at what Luffy's doing right now to fucking Kizaru and like what he just did to Kizaru and Saturn at the same time, you know? He would beat all of those supernova combined. Most of them would be non-factors. Future Sight, they would never hit him. Way too fast, reality warping powers, advanced Conqueror's Haki. Maybe, because Law's involved, maybe they'd be able to do something to him just because, like, Law has really good support abilities to be able to teleport. So just because Law is the ultimate team fighter, maybe there'd be some difficulty for Luffy, but, like, the gap is just huge. You get what I'm saying, right? Okay. Anyway. Best introductions. This is not ordered. Not ordered just yet. Mihawk, Dragon, Blackbeard. Okay. Let me specify. Not ordered yet. Before people flip out on me. Mihawk, Dragon, Blackbeard. Who has a good introduction after that? We get to the sky. We get NL, Aokiji. I think Loki, Lucci, and CP9 have a really cool reveal. But it's not... They have one of the coolest reveals in the story, for sure. Garp has a fun one, but I wouldn't say it's one of the best. I wouldn't say Garp's is one of the best. Moria, Supernovas in general, they have a cool reveal chapter. Like, the entire chapter where the supernovas are revealed is fun. Rayleigh's reveal is, it's my personal favorite in the entire story. Personal favorite. I'll explain why later. Kizaru, of course. Rayleigh, Kizaru. Hancock. I don't think Hancock's going to be, like, top 5 or anything, personally, but I think she deserves maybe in there. Moving along through Marineford. Most everybody at Marineford had already been introduced. I guess you could say, I don't think Akainu's reveal was that cool. And I'm a big Akainu fan. I have a lot of hopes for him in the story. I think he's potentially one of the most interesting characters. I just don't think that his reveal was that cool. Melting the iceberg. It was cool, but, you know, the war was so packed that there wasn't a ton of time to give laser focus to Akainu the way that we could with Aokiji or Kizaru. Marco, no, because Marco's, like, he's been around. Like, he was introduced way back in the Shanks scene, you know. If Marco's introduction was the Marineford scene, then that'd be one thing, but it's not the case. Post-time skip. So, nothing crazy in Punk Hazard, Dressrosa. Fujitora, I guess we could throw in. Kaido, obviously. Kaido's like Oda's, in terms of just effort of crafting an introduction, Kaido's is Oda's masterclass. That's his magnum opus in terms of crafting an entire chapter around a character introduction, in my opinion. Oh, Big Mom at Fishman Island. Big Mom, you could argue 2 introductions. There's the Fishman Island one, where we see part of her, and then there's the, her doing that musical number on Whole Cake Island. Unless we already saw... I guess it's the Fishman Island one. That's the first one that we see. I'm trying to keep them in chronological order here. Big Mom. I think they're both really good, honestly. I think Big Mom had good character introductions. Big Mom, Kaido... Katakuri. Katakuri had a great introduction. Loved Katakuri's introduction. I forget about that one. King, Queen, Jack. King and Queen, they have really cool designs, but I don't think they had great introductory scenes. Cigar Verk, thanks for being a Yarnco tier member for 18 months. Kaido had the best intro. He was the first one announced, and intro is literally a feat. Yeah, waiting for Pin Zoro intro, he will defeat all Gorosei at Egghead. Alright, I don't know about that one. Ace had a great character. Oh, Ace's character introduction is phenomenal. I can't believe I forgot about that. Love Ace's introduction. That entire sequence is phenomenal. Katakuri. Odin? I don't think Odin's was that good. I mean, it was fine. Yeah, the musical number was really good. Like, Big Mom had 2. She had 2 introductions. Because can you, like, it depends how much you count the Fishman Island one as her full introduction. I'll say 1 and 2. Garling had a great introduction. I agree. Then we got Saturn. Then we got the combination of Jupiter, Venus, Juro, Mars, Top Man. Saturn's was separate from theirs. Oh, Smoker. Smoker had a good introduction. He had a good introduction scene, yeah. Green Bull actually had a great introduction. A phenomenal introduction. It's just that you don't, like... I don't remember... People don't remember the hype coming out at 10:54. It was insane. Like, people were going nuts about Green Bull. Some people were already saying that he was stronger than Kaido. If you go back and read what people were saying at that point in time, there was some discussion like, yo, Green Bull might be the real threat and he's even bigger than Kaido. Like, a bigger threat than Kaido. Just because he shows up and he's like, zero diffed. What it seems like. Now people have kind of gone back and been like, no, he didn't, like, King and Queen must have been injured or something like that. I don't know. Like, I don't want to get into the weeds with that pun, but you know what I mean? Like, that's its own can of worms. JP, thanks for the 5. Oh, wait, what am I... Okay. Emu, of course. Has Emu had his introduction yet or not? Because there's 2 ways. Because, like, Emu's kind of going to be like Big Mom, where the first introduction was chapter 800 or 908, you know, where we first get Emu's introduction, like, in terms of revealing him as a character. And then when we get Emu mask off, like, silhouette off, like, actual appearance, that's going to be its own whole thing. So I'll put Emu number 1. That counts by the way we've been going through things. Emu. I mean, there's not a 2, so I guess I can just say that. JP, thanks for the 5. Kaido's intro was so far, and then Oda gave him another one entering Kuri with his Devil Fruit reveal. Yeah, I think for that one, we're just, for Kaido, we're still just, he has 2 of the best introductions, because I think that, I agree the Dragon form would probably make top 5 as well, but we're not going to do Dragon form as its own introduction. I think that's a little different. Like, Big Mom's, it's like we literally don't even see her as the character. We're just seeing a silhouette, and then we get her full appearance, like, we get her full persona and everything. Kaido's not the same. I don't think that's quite the same. Like, we'd seen a bunch of him. We'd seen him in 795. We'd seen him talking about, like with Kid in the prison cell. We'd seen a bunch of him, and then we get the Dragon reveal. It's different. People are saying Lafitte. The thing is, Lafitte's not going to make it. He's not going to make a top 10 list. There's no point putting him. He's not going to make a top 10 list. 00 Flivans, thanks for the 2. Wealth, fame, and power. That's not... I don't count. That's not Gold Roger. I mean, it is literally gold. It is literally introducing Gold Roger. I'm not counting Roger. It's too messy. That's more like introducing the story. It's not the same. It's... You know, like, we're not even seeing him as a character there. It's more like a real... I don't know. I'm not counting it. I see what you're getting at. That's too difficult then. Because then it's like, Well then, fuck. Is that just the best character introduction? I don't know. Breezy2x, thanks for the 2. Isn't Akainu's introduction Ohara? I wouldn't like. We get a glimpse of him, but I would say his introductory scene is. Either way, it's not a very impactful scene. Obviously, what he orders there is very impactful, but it's not like you don't get this sort of dramatic impact focus on the character like you do with all these other introduction scenes. We're getting a glimpse of him and we're understanding, wait, who's this bad dude that's kind of being hidden? You know? Oh, Ivankov. Ivankov should make it. Ivankov should definitely make it. Where's Ivankov? Comes here. Okay. TomTom, thanks for the 2. Raizo, don't say it doesn't count. It's his intro. It doesn't count. That's not. Let's get into ordering it. Let's get into ordering shit. Alright. I'm not counting Roger. And Odin's not making a fucking top 10 list. Come on now. Okay. So. Now we're going to order some shit. Alright. Starting now. I think Dragons and... Okay, fuck. Now I'm already stuck. I'm going to cross some stuff off, okay? I don't think Lucci's making a top 10 list. I'm going to say for me, I'll tell you guys right now. Let me start putting some shit together. For me, oops. This is kind of what I'm looking at. Like, these are the ones that really stand out to me. I got these so far, and then the rest are all really good. I don't know how I would put them. Oh, wait. Emu. This is roughly what I'm putting at. Okay, this is my favorite. I would say this. I would say if I'm looking purely at the intro, like, I just showed you guys my favorites. I'm not trying to convince you guys of it, okay? My favorites are gonna have Rayleigh at number 1. I think my favorite's gonna have Rayleigh at number 1, just because of what it meant to me and the impact that it had on me. I think Kaido is, in terms of pure crafting of a scene, pure impact of revealing a character, I definitely think I personally consider that to be Oda's best work in the entire story. I think similar to that, I think in terms of crafting a scene, I would say that the Gorosei reveal of the 4 of them last chapter, I think it's also really, really up there. Just pure dramatic construction, build up, impact, designs, all of that. But I think I would put Kaido at number 1 in that regard. I have Rayleigh as my favorite, and we can go through and reorder based on your guys' favorites soon. I have Rayleigh as my favorite just because at the time that I read it, it really, really just filled it. It just filled me with just the sense of sheer euphoria, wonder, excitement. Like, it felt like a whole new world had been opened as soon as I read this thing that said vice captain of the Pirate Kings, of the Pirate King's crew, like the right hand of the Pirate King, vice captain of the Roger Pirates, right hand of the Pirate King. It was just like, because One Piece as a story, it moved really slowly, and like we would get huge lore reveals and we're moving through the world, but we're still so far away, and we know that there's so much left to uncover. And back then, stuff like Pirate King related stuff, Roger related stuff, it was very, very, very slim pickings. Very, very little information about any of that. It just felt like that stuff is so far away. So for me as a kid, when I first read Rayleigh, vice captain of the Roger Pirates, right hand of the Pirate King, it just felt like it didn't make sense. It felt like we've been dropped into some bizarro world where it's just like all this stuff that seemed almost like legendary, mythical. It's very real. I hadn't even considered Roger's pirate crew. And if you go back and look at discussion at that time, most people didn't really think about who Roger's crewmates were or anything, or who, like, nobody was really thinking about, like, I wonder who the vice captain is and everything. It just introduced a whole new angle to the story and how we think of Roger's story and the characters that could feasibly be showing up in the future, and the type of stuff we might be able to learn right now. Really, this was really, really special to me. And also just the timing of it, because now we look back and we're like, of course, Sabaody was this period of the story where everything just blew up and the gates were kind of blown open on all of this other stuff. It led to Marineford, lore reveals, the whole world started changing. But you got to keep in mind, we're coming off of Thriller Bark and some Flying Fish Rider shit. Like, no disrespect to that part of the story. It's fun to read, but we're not used to really, like, we've been in a phase of the story where we're kind of going through the motions and we're not learning that much new stuff. And we don't really expect to learn that much new stuff. And we kind of know that we're going to go to Fishman Island soon. So we're at Sabaody right now, which seems like a stopover island, a stopgap. So everything just feels kind of slow, by the numbers, straightforward. Still fun because it's One Piece, but this moment really changed it. And this moment was it's the catalyst. I believe it happens on chapter 500, and it's the catalyst for everything else that happens in Sabaody, where just the doors are blown wide open, and it's like, not just really, but now it's Celestial Dragons. Like, Luffy's hitting a Celestial Dragon, Admirals are coming down, Pacifistas are being revealed, the Marineford War is being revealed, and that's starting up. All of this is happening in the span of the next 15 chapters, basically, and we're getting all this information about Roger and stuff. So the reveal really is a watershed moment in the series for me. So for me, it's my favorite. But if people think that Kaido's is the best, I'm not going to argue with that. I think that Kaido's is the, like, if I take my personal feelings out of it, I think Kaido's is the best, like, just the best done, most dramatic, most hype reveal that Oda's ever done. Cigar Verk, thanks to the 5. Zoro ship cut and Luffy one-shot Pacifista intro post-time skip are epic too. They are really epic, but they're not introductions. 1111 might be Zoro chapter, but it can be 5 Elders versus Looking Legend Pin Zoro top 1 intro. I do think that there's a solid possibility for good Zoro moments next chapter. Maybe because of the 1111 thing, but also just because, you know, he just got freed up from fighting Lucci, so it's time for him to probably flex a little bit. JWP, thanks for the 5. Being anime only for Jaya, Blackbeard's speech at the time was my favorite moment of the story. The anime really played up Luffy and Blackbeard peril and was awesome. Yeah, I was anime only too at that period of time. I thought Blackbeard was awesome. So one of the things that, it is a really, really unique moment. I think, no, I'm not counting the entirety of Rayleigh's thing. Like, I was going down memory lane. I'm not saying like his intro last 15 chapters. I'm saying the moment that he was revealed was like one of the most surprising reveals in the entirety of One Piece for sure. And we can move him down overall. I'm just giving like my personal preference for which reveal just strictly affected me the most, which introduction. Rayleigh's is number 1. But if you want to say like overall, what's a better introduction than what, like, I could see Rayleigh falling down the list. One thing I'd say is that with Blackbeard's introduction, I wonder how I could view this higher or lower. It depends a lot on how impactful it felt at the time. I think a lot of us viewed it as it was a really good scene at the time, and now I think in retrospect we go back to it as readers a lot and like respect it even more, just because of the way the story's gone, the more we've understood about Blackbeard and who he is and just how significant that whole interaction between him and Luffy was. But I don't know if I'd put it at number 1 or like that high for introductions. I don't know if I'd put it like top 3 for introductions just based on impact at its time. You know, like there's a difference between when you're going back with context and how you weight things versus just the straight up power of the introduction scene on its own. So I think Blackbeard's might get a little bit of a boost in readers' eyes because of that other aspect. So one thing, for example, I would say is like an easy way you could think about this is think about it like this, right? If you were watching like a One Piece reaction, like new viewers watching One Piece, and I've liked to go back and watch new viewers' reactions to certain scenes, which scenes do you think are most impactful? Like, which scenes at that time when they're watching it for the first time, reading it for the first time, usually watching it for the first time, which scenes when they're watching it for the first time do you think have the most surprise factor, most weight, most impact, most excitement generated? I don't think Blackbeard's ranks that high in that regard. Wrench Doctor 2000 says it was a really good scene and it's even better with time. Yeah, it was a really good scene and it's even better with time. But I'm saying for the purposes of this, ignore with time. Ignore that part of it. How do you evaluate that scene for what it was, you know? Aokiji, yeah, Aokiji should be higher. I think I just put up what I liked right off the bat. So let's start doing what everybody likes. Okay. This is just difficult because a lot of them are really good. So, yeah, imagine it like this. New viewer watching One Piece for the first time. So not even yourself, because you're going to be biased for yourself, right? Imagine new viewer watching One Piece for the first time. What do you think that they're going to get most excited? Which scenes are they going to get most excited seeing for the first time? First time seeing. That's how we're gauging introductions, not based on retrospect. Yeah, without time. Without time. I think Kaido's is easily the best without time. I still think that Rayleigh's is really high, because I don't know about you guys, but I've gone back and watched lots of One Piece reactions, just because it's fun to watch One Piece reactions. The Rayleigh one is always one of the most fun ones to watch, because people freak the fuck out of this over this one. So I do think that Rayleigh should be high up here, you know? JWP, thanks for the 5. If you count the Blackbeard Pirate Crew name drop when we finally realized, then it's definitely top tier, because it's the culmination of one of the main stories since Drum Island. You got to do one or the other. I'm going to say it's the... That is fair, because that's like when we finally learn who he is, which is a big part of it. Yeah. I'm going to say stick to the bar scene. Stick to the bar scene, otherwise it extends too much. Wrench Dodger 2000 says, new viewer watches man freeze as far as the ocean as you can see. Not a lot of impact here. No, I should have Aokiji higher. Again, before... I was just basing off. You guys got to see my personal preference of favorite introductions, basically. Which ones got me the most hyped in the moment. But that's not. Well, I'm not saying that that's necessarily what most viewers would feel. Cigar Verk, thanks for the 2. There's no first watch better than Nothing Happened. Yeah, Nothing Happened is amazing first time around. So let's see. Okay. Let's rank these a little bit. I think Smoker, I would say safely is not going to make the list. I think Hancock is hype, but I don't think that's going to make the list. I don't think Ivankov is going to make the list. Fujitora crushing someone in the bar, it's cool, but it's nowhere close to what the other admirals were doing. I don't know about these, because I think people really like the ace reveal. Okay, let's get into these. Okay, so... do we think, and I'm just going to read what chat's saying, basically. Rayleigh's reveal versus the Gorosei. Which are we keeping higher? We're not going to do a poll for each of these. I'm just going to kind of read. Rayleigh versus the Gorosei. Wait a second. What am I talking about? But the Gorosei... Oh, I'm cheating, though. I'm cheating. And you guys didn't even call me out on it. I'm fucking cheating. Because the Gorosei's introduction scene... like, they were technically introduced all the way back in chapter, like, 230 something, right? So, like, I don't know why my train of thought wasn't here. But, like, by this logic, I should have Kaido's Devil Fruit reveal also, right? Involved? Right? Because this is cheating, isn't it? Like, these guys shouldn't even technically count as character introductions. If we were doing character designs, like character design reveals, that's a different thing. Oh, you guys said it? You guys were saying it? Then I have to take them off the list. I have to take Saturn off the list. Can't believe I have to take Saturn off the list. And their introduction was not that good. It's pretty straightforward. They don't make the list. I was cheating so hard. Esteban says we never got their names, no introduction. Yeah, but then even the time we got their names is the Godheads. It was cool. It was cool. I just don't think that makes... It's not going to make the list. Even if you count the chapter that we got their names as the Godheads, I don't think it cracks it. Okay. Gorosei, yeah, if we were doing coolest designs or something, then the Gorosei would obviously make the list. Fuck. This entire stream was based off of the idea that we just got one of the coolest character introductions to the Gorosei. Alright. Do 1 and 2 like I did with Big Mom? I could, yeah. You're right. Gorosei introduction number 2. Okay, Gorosei introduction number 2. Okay. And we'll include Saturn number 2. You know why we're allowed to do this? We're allowed to do this just because the Gorosei, it seems like they might actually be demons, potentially. And just based off of that headcanon speculation, and because I want to and I'm biased and I want to include them in the list, let's just throw them in. Zunisha? No, we're not including Zunisha. Yeah, we're just going to cheat for the Gorosei, for the sake of this video. For the sake of this stream. Okay, Vegapunk. No, I didn't think Vegapunk's introduction was that cool. Okay. What's cooler? Chapter 1110, the big spread of all the Gorosei? So that scene? Or Mihawk? What's better? Gorosei or Mihawk? You guys gotta tell me. Yeah, it is a... Yeah, just... We're cheating, but we just gotta do it. I think the Gorosei are... Mihawk's a really good scene for the character stuff with Zoro. Mihawk's a better scene with the character stuff with Zoro than... Okay, so basically the way it is like, the Gorosei are more hype. Mihawk's a better scene. Let's do a poll. This is tight. The thing is, it's not like it's not just character writing though, right? Because like Kaido's is above Mihawk, even though Mihawk has a better written scene with Zoro, but Kaido's is just too hype. This is tight. Alright, I'll give it 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Alright, it looks like we're bumping Mihawk above the Gorosei. Well, actually, Mihawk really. I don't know what you guys feel about that. I feel like... I don't know. I'm biased towards the Rayleigh moment. It was just a very special moment for me. But, you know, I can see. JP says, do Gorosei reveal as Godheads also count separate? No, we're cheating really hard here. We're cheating really hard. Oh, people like Mihawk seeing a lot, that much. Okay, 60-40. Wait, but then do people like Rayleigh better than the Gorosei at all? Should I have Gorosei above Rayleigh? I do... oh, wait, hold on. Mihawk introduced the depth of the world, says Portia, so that's a big piece. There's also a lot of more Mihawk fans, so I think we have to balance out for that. Oh, Tiago Raphael actually makes a really, really, really important point, though. Without Mihawk, a lot of people would probably have given up on the manga at that point. That's true. That is, and I'm not saying that just like... That's just that's just the way the world is, which is Mihawk was the first actually traditionally shonen hype type character to show up in One Piece. So it's important. Okay, so I've realized something, which is that there are a lot, like, we have to balance for the fact that there are just a lot of Mihawk fans. So we got to take that into account when doing these polls. I think Emu's reveal should rank higher. Emu's reveal should be here. Maybe higher. Like, Emu's reveal is a huge ass deal. Yeah, the Mihawk scene I think is better than the Blackbeard scene. And then these guys, I think there's a drop off after this. I think there's a bit of a drop off. In terms of significance, I think a lot of these overlap. I would put Aokiji above Katakuri. Probably put Kizaru above Katakuri. Katakuri is such a badass design, so I'm biased towards that. Saturn, I think, might be cooler than Katakuri in terms of the moment he was revealed. Do I think Saturn's reveal was cooler than Aokiji? Saturn didn't do that much afterwards. I think Aokiji's scene is cooler than Kizaru's personally. He just put the Strats in such a state of terror. I mean, so did Kizaru, but that was a team effort, you know. There was other shit going on. And plus, Aokiji just freezing the sea. It's pretty crazy. I think Ace had a cool scene reveal, like just him being revealed as Luffy's brother. I think that was a pretty great scene. Put that here. Saturn's reveal is really good, though. Saturn did change the game. Green Bull had such a phenomenal scene. It's just that it gets crushed so quickly. I kind of got to take him off for that. Garling, not enough substance to it. There's a lot of contention here. I think you can argue a lot of these either way. Gorosei, I might have too much recency bias, but I still just think it's one of the coolest spreads that Oda's ever done. And it's just like 4 top tier characters all at the same time. That's just impactful in a way that is different from a lot of the rest. So maybe I'm overrating these just because of recency bias. I don't know. The rest, Kaido, obviously Oda's most well-crafted introduction scene ever. Emu, just the significance of the reveal, and it's a really well-crafted introduction of just like him sitting on the throne. Really, the actual like the actual lore that inherently comes with his reveal, essentially. I'm not saying the following chapters, but just the realization that we're looking at the Vice Captain of the Pirate King at its time, for its time, was mind-blowing. It meant so much to readers at its time. And again, if you go back and just watch, like, if you go back to, like, I would say basically, if you go back to watch people's reactions to Rayleigh versus the reactions to, like, Emu sitting on the throne, like, to date, I think the Rayleigh reactions are some of the craziest One Piece reactions you'll ever see. Just people going, like, people realizing that Rayleigh's the Vice Hand of the Pirate King. Vice Captain, you know? So I still feel like Rayleigh's being a little bit under... I don't know. I'll give it to Emu just because it's, you know, it is what it is. Gorosei, masterfully crafted chapter. The suspense, the lead up, the designs, the spread, all of that. This is the tension that comes with their appearance. Mihawk, maybe the most important character introduction in all of One Piece, as was previously mentioned. It's what probably keeps readers reading. Blackbeard, I think we might have too high, if I'm being honest. Because a lot of it is with time. We realize how significant it is. But I don't think that... I think that like Aokiji would probably be more hype in the moment than Blackbeard personally, you know? I think even Saturn's might be more exciting. JWP, thanks for the 5. Just saw a tweet showing Mihawk's bathroom and it's only a toilet. No toilet paper or sink. Mihawk canonically doesn't wipe? Holy shit, that's disgusting. Oh my god. Bidets? Did they have that technology? Jarens Rambo, thanks a lot. Why do you say Warlords isn't a scale tier listing? Because there's too much variance among them, right? Because like Mihawk's so far above like Moria, you know? Shonen Academia, thanks a lot. Want a video reveal? Top 3 for sure. Oh, it will be at some point. This is too difficult. 1, 2, 3. I don't think I'm ranking this accurately at all. I think there's a lot of really good character reveals, and that's the main problem. I don't even know where to put Saturn's at this point. Like, how much is character design? Because Saturn and Katakuri is largely character design. Ace, it's mostly that like it's Luffy's brother and he's got a really cool power. Also his design though. Blackbeard, I think a lot of it is retrospect, honestly. Mihawk uses his sword to wipe. That's funny. Okay, guys. I can't... Okay, we're just gonna... I'm hungry. That's where we're ending the stream. I can't do it. It's too difficult. Because it's apples and oranges past a certain point. Like, some of these are great reveals. Like, Kaido, Imu, Gorosei. If I were to judge it like this, like, what would I go watch YouTubers react to? Not YouTube. Yeah, YouTubers. If I were to judge it by what would I watch people react to, I'd watch people react to Kaido. Watch people react to Rayleigh. Imu, the reactions I've seen, people are usually, like, kind of confused. Like, they see somebody going and sitting on the throne. They're, like... It's a mixture of, like, oh, holy shit, but also confusion. You know? Like, you don't really know what to think right then, but it's still such a big deal. Mihawk... Most people, when the Mihawk stuff happens, they're not as hooked on the series, so it's harder to gauge. Because, at least reactions that I've seen of the Mihawk scenes... like, people in general aren't as invested in One Piece. So it's not as crazy hype reactions as stuff that happens later on. But it's important in that it's, like, the first time that you see people actually, like, leaning in, kind of locked in and, like, paying attention to a One Piece scene and kind of actually, like, invested in it. So Mihawk's a tricky one to place. Aokiji, I've seen some hyped reactions over that scene. Blackbeard, again, it's kind of like a, okay, that guy's an interesting guy. You know, that sort of a thing. Kizaru, yeah, people tend to get excited when they see Ace as Luffy's brother. Katakuri, obviously, like, the full design reveal gets people hyped. So some of these are just hard to rank. I'd say just in terms of, like, just sheer, like, popping off, sort of like, holy shit, that happened. Kaido, really, these are the big ones that I see reactions from, at least from how I see people excited over shit. And then Admiral shit, like Aokiji, Kizaru, people get really excited over that. Gorosei, I imagine that's going to be something that when Saturn transforms, of course, and then also when the Gorosei themselves all transform, I think that's going to be, like, really, really big. Shonen Academia says, no Wanna video, commitment issues, new GF said. That's funny. Well, it will come sometime. Just wait on it. Alright, guys. It's too difficult. It's apples and oranges. Yeah, it's just hard. Alright, guys, that's all for today. Thank you all for tuning in. And yeah. Jack D. Slam says, y'all think Law uses shambles to teleport his shit so he doesn't have to wipe? That would actually be, yeah, that'd be a really good use for it, right? It's so convenient. Alright, but thank you for tuning in. And yeah. Alright, I will talk to you all later. It was too difficult to rank this, but we tried. And I think the conclusion is that One Piece does character introductions really, really, really well and has a ton of great ones. All right.